Falling sure makes me hot and thirsty. This is a job for Kool-Aid. Hey, Kool-Aid!
Oh, yeah. Kool-Aid here, bringing you fun. Kool-Aid's got thirst on the run. Get a big, wide, happy ear to hear Kool-Aid smile. Yeah, cause the biggest smile is a Kool-Aid smile. A Kool-Aid smile, a Kool-Aid smile.
Your friend's cool. My friend's Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid brand soft drink.
Oh, yeah.
Your friend's cool.
If it's Sunday, it must be the Music Relish Show with your hosts, Mark, Lou, and Perry.
Yes, it
Episode
is.
61. Hey,
And
guys.
I'm drinking Kool-Aid, by the way.
Oh, yeah. What flavor Kool-Aid is it?
It looked red.
Jim
So
Jones
So it has to
special.
be cherry.
It must be, or it's just red flavored. And why was raspberry like a weird color, like aqua blue or something? Why was that? Why was raspberry not purple?
I don't know.
It was bug juice.
It was bug juice, but
I used
somewhere
to like the Gatorade that looked like antifreeze. I like that one.
with no propylene glycol. Okay, let's jump into the show.
Let's jump into the show.
show.
Yeah.
How
Tonight
can you
we're
say
gonna talk-
propylene glycol? I can't. I just said it. I was going to say I can't say it, but I just said it. Okay, sorry.
I think that's what attracts dogs to antifreeze because it's sweet.
Yeah.
And there's a food grade propylene glycol that they put in certain soft drinks, which is
Really?
terrifying. Yeah,
Not good.
although you'll never overheat. Where's my rim shot, Perry? Come on, man.
Oh, hold on.
Here we go. Are you ready?
We got to deliver it again. You got to deliver it
Delayed
again.
gratification.
I need to get-
I forgot the line. I don't know. We're on the cuff here. There you go. Okay. All right. So tonight on the Music Relish Show,
Yes.
we're going to talk about Muscle Shoals, or maybe some Muscle Shoals, the famous studio,
Yeah.
some members, some other alumni, their staff.
Yes.
We're going to take a little video and some clips about a drumstick factory, followed by a little story about how the drum kit, the modern drum kit, came to be.
Yeah.
A contraption,
Cool.
because it is a contraption. I can tell you that it is.
Yeah.
Of course, we have some random relish and trivia about all kinds of things.
Mhm.
We're going to little mention of two musicians that have passed this week, and that should be something nice and
Yeah.
interesting because there are two
Mhm.
interesting fellas. And we're talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for 2024.
Yeah.
And I have
British
an appointment.
pub band, possibly.
I have an appointment with Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
We have an appointment with Dr.
We
Feelgood.
do. Yeah. And Wilko Johnson. Yep.
All right. So let's commence au festival, shall we?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so they announced the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for 2024.
Really?
Yes, they did. So let's go down the list. There's
Yeah.
a few, and just see what we think. As always, this is great for opinion. So
Mhm.
the nominees this year. What's that, Mark?
I'll do this. I'll do my
Okay.
Caesar thumbs up,
Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, we'll have to give an audio because not
Yep.
everyone has a visual.
All right.
Okay, Mariah Carey was nominated.
Thumbs
Really?
Mark gives a thumbs down.
I don't
In the
dislike
Marcus
category-
Aurelius.
The category of
Mark just froze up. Okay.
mental case. I think it was.
Am I back?
Yeah, I didn't look at the category. I don't know, best female vocalist. So
yeah,
Mariah Carey.
probably.
I like
Yeah.
I like her, but I just don't think that's rock. That's definitely to me not Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay, to me, it's that form of. I'm not a big purveyor of that kind of pop, that kind of dancey pop.
Yeah.
I'm kind of. I mean, she's been around for a long time, and she's had a hell of. I mean, maybe it's just
Yeah.
for the Christmas song. All I Want for Christmas. No, was that Britney Spears?
No, that was her. That was
That's how much
Really?
I know. All I Want for Christmas is You.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean that's huge.
Great singer, but just not. That's totally. She's not even to me R&B.
Yeah.
She's just crisp and perfect. She's.
I don't get it
you know,
either.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, has she racked up a huge amount of mega hits, lasting?
Yes. She made a lot of money for the
Okay.
industry. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
In the what is it? R&B, her category.
Nah, I don't
a-
consider her R&B personally. I
what
consider
her
her pop,
category is.
just pop.
I think so.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's had some R&B-ish songs, but she's definitely not gritty R&B like we like.
Right. How about this one? Cher.
Yes.
Sure was nominated.
I agree with that. I agree.
I do
that.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's unanimous thumbs up. I mean,
Yeah.
just the longevity alone, those '60s hits were big.
Yeah.
I give it a thumbs up emoji.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Thumbs up emoji.
Ding.
Yeah. Okay. Sinead O'Connor.
Yes.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Groundbreaking.
This one is interesting. Sade. I know two. I know two hits. That's what I know.
But I'm sure she was huge, megastar in Europe.
In Europe, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, with all the people being inducted, Sade definitely has to go in because you know, she's not rock and roll. She's more jazz, but she is an authentic
jazz,
singer.
R&B
It
pop.
is kind of jazzy, yeah.
I'm feigning ignorance, so I'm going to be like up in the air. I don't know. I do like the two hits. I mean, I think she's, like I said, I think like Perry said, she might have an influence abroad or even the United States that I'm not aware of.
Right.
But,
she does an album every 10 years and it sells, and she does a great tour. She makes millions of dollars every 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think for her second time not being nominated, Mary J. Blige.
I agree. As far as hip hop, she's a rock and roller. But that's my opinion.
I don't know much about hip hop and rap, so I'll go with your word.
Her tobacco stained vocals are just so.
Was she in a band and then became a solo after?
She was always solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a singer, not really a rapper. So
okay,
she's got a sultry stuff. Like sounds like she smokes.
I know I've heard her.
Yeah,
her songs. The Dave Matthews Band.
I feel jittery already.
What's that?
I'm jittery already.
Too. I'm thinking the drummer's playing too much. I think.
But okay,
that's terrible. That's
they're
terrible.
super famous, and I agree with it. Yeah,
I do. You have your own XM channel. I think that's almost really Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And with him, it's not the record sales; it's the tours. He's a massive tour, and every time he plays in a stadium, he sells out. For that reason alone, he's a force.
Oh, he's immense. I mean, the popularity of the band is immense. I think.
Yeah.
And incidentally, heck of a nice guy.
Yes. Otis brought you pickles.
Mark has always praised his acting
in that one movie, Win Dixie.
Yeah.
Win Dixie.
I'm not a bad man.
Eric B. and Rakim.
You know what I'm going to say.
I'm sure they're famous.
I don't.
Circles, right?
They come from the earliest days of hip hop, and they were pioneers. And there are certain hip hop artists. Another one to have that rock and roll attitude. So I'm going to say yes.
So they were hip hop before it was rap.
Okay.
Yeah, hip hop. There was. Scott McLean would know better, but I think that rap was definitely before hip hop. Hip hop came in the 80s.
Yeah. Okay. Foreigner.
It's about time.
Put him in.
Shite.
Yeah.
I'm not even a big fan, but I do think they've made their contribution.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
And Mick Jones,
regardless if you're a fan or not, that band should be in there. Yeah.
Mick Jones, as what he's done with them, it's his band. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
I wonder if Lou Gramm will be there, and right, and maybe maybe sing a song.
And I always liked that drummer.
Who is the drummer?
Is it Dennis Chambers? No,
that's the jazz drummer.
His name's Dennis. I forgot his name, but
I know the drum. I'm very familiar with the drumming in Foreigner. It's very solid. Yeah.
It's very solid, but it's not uncreative. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Dennis something. Anyway. Okay. Peter Frampton. Put him in.
Oh,
absolutely.
Put him in.
Yeah.
Humble Pie, solo career.
Yeah. Let's see. Jane's Addiction. I say no. Jane says you go to the aquarium. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
They were different, but did they have that much?
Were these people actually getting in?
Yeah, I don't know if they had that much of an impact on the music world.
I don't think so.
Lou, these are not they're not nominated. These are they're going to be inducted, correct?
Yeah, well, that's what they call them. The names that came up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Okay. I'm saying no. I mean, Perry Farrell would start Lollapalooza.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, that's been caught stealing. I mean,
yeah.
I know, like
they were huge.
I know they were influential for that time.
Yeah.
But I think a little less so than Smashing Pumpkins. Are they in? Have they been nominated? Have they been? Are they eligible for nomination? Yeah, they are.
Well, there's one guy I can't stand who was affiliated with that. It's
Billy
this guy,
Coogan?
Dave Navarro. He was affiliated with
Jane's Addiction.
Jane's Addiction. At one point, he may have been. I can't stand that guy.
Was he in the Chili Peppers at one point?
Yeah, he was on an album that really nobody liked. It didn't do too good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving along. Kool and the Gang.
Yes.
Why aren't they in?
Yeah.
Why aren't they in?
Up. Yes.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay. Next, we have on the list Lenny Kravitz.
No, I don't think musically he's that big. I mean,
I'm ambivalent toward him.
Yeah, he's a fashion statement. He's got some really good songs I like, but he's not a musical impact. Because
it looks cool, he's going to get inducted.
He's more of he's an assimilator,
Yeah,
let love roll.
Right.
Everyone's like they compared it to John Lennon.
Right.
I do like the one song. It's not over.
Woman.
It's not over till it's over. That's a great song.
That was from his first album. I thought it was a latter day hit.
No, that wasn't on his first. That was on his second or third. I have that album. Yeah, it's a great album. But
I think that's a really good song.
Yeah,
I think it's actually very soulful. It's very soulful.
But I don't like American Woman. It's overplayed his version.
His version of American Woman.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How about this one? Oasis.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, they got to go in. I say
they have to go in.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
They brought the Beatles back.
This could be the reunion everyone's been talking about, right?
I'll win.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
I will win that one.
I don't think they're going to even go.
I agree with you, Perry. I don't think they'll show up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Speaking of reunions, you read about REM?
I got to talk about that later on my Dandem Dell issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will say I didn't mean.
No, it's Random Relish.
No,
came up. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
off the cuff.
We don't say the C word, and we say Random Relish.
Yeah, because it's a charity concert that's been going on. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and not only a charity concert, but there was another event. We're not scripted here on the Music Relish Show.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So how about this one? Ozzy Osbourne as a solo artist. Yes, I see it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yes.
Thumbs up.
Blizzard of Oz. I mean, every guitar player in the '80s poured over that record.
There's my emoji. There's my emoji.
I got my emoji too.
As the resident metalhead on the show, he's had so much of an impact on heavy metal. '80s, solo careers.
And Lee Sklar has his own emoji now too, doesn't he?
That's funny. It's on my phone, and I've used it.
Yeah, so I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, and finally, A Tribe Called Quest.
Yes.
They
had a documentary too, by the way. So.
Yeah, I agree.
There was recently a documentary about them.
You're in. You're in. So by that logic, Edenville will one day be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
that project has not gone off the ground.
It's not gone off the ground.
Hey,
yet.
Lou,
I'm
are you guys going to do a reunion when you get in? Is there going to be a reunion?
Sure, of course there would be.
You better remember the lyrics.
All members, including my brother.
There you go.
Well,
Brother Anthony has to be there.
I'm a satellite member, right?
No, you're not. No. It's not a true thing with either you or me there. So if I'm not there, it ain't a real thing. If you're not there, it's not a real thing.
All right.
If the original Birds could get back together, anybody can.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right there.
Yeah. Well, I agree with a lot of them. Like I said, some of them
I think it's a good list. It's a good list.
That's a good lineup.
I got some rock and roll information.
Ooh, what do you have?
Who has the most Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations, but is not in? I couldn't find the date on this list I found. So if there's someone are in, some of that might have been nominated this year or on this list. Okay, it goes from who had the most nominations that is not in down to the least, and it could go on forever. But I'll start with the top. Was Chic had 11 nominations. They've been nominated 11 times and not in. Yeah. 11 times.
Bernard Edwards.
I wouldn't accept it. I'd say, "Fuck you." Come on.
The guy
don't go.
Really?
The guy that produced David Bowie. What was his name? The guitar player.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
Good. Carlos out. No, Carlos out.
No. You'll think of it as we're moving on. Yeah.
It was
interject it
COVID.
later when you think of it. Yeah.
It's called COVID brain, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Lou, the drummer for Farner was Dennis Elliott.
Dennis Elliott. I got the first name
it was
right,
Dennis, yeah. Yep.
I was getting him mixed up with Martin Chambers from the Pretenders. Two great solid rock and roll drummers who were underappreciated.
Yeah, there's a reason Chrissy Hine is always working with him. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Mutton chops.
Hopefully love and loyalty has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Because he was there since the beginning. They're the surviving members of the original Pretenders, which was a great band.
She's the coolest of the cool. Chrissy Hine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Rock and roll. Okay. Chuck Willis, the songwriter, I guess a performer too. He's been nominated 6 times. Chuck Willis wrote, I Don't Want to Hang Up My Rock and Roll Shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. And also he wrote CC Rider. And a song called What Am I Living For? Interesting little side note about that song. I don't know that one song. I know, CC Rider, of course. Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels made that famous. But What Am I Looking For? What Am I Living For? It came out right after he died. Okay. But apparently that's the first rock and roll recorded in stereo, engineered by legendary Tom Dowd. We should talk about Tom Dowd again, because most people got to know more about Tom Dowd.
Yeah.
Kids who like Layla, that's
You've covered
Tom
him
Dowd.
in the past, yep.
Oh, yeah.
You did a Tom Dowd segment, yep.
Oh, yeah. I think we did a repeat on it when we went to the new format.
Yeah.
Because it was worthy of it. Okay, the MC5 have been nominated 6 times. Should they be in?
They should be. Yeah, they should be. Especially I think, since we just lost a member, right?
That's right. That's right. Wayne Kramer.
Yeah.
It's funny because their influence is huge. I think more people might know them from Blue Oyster Cult covering Kick Out the Jams or other things. But I think there needs to be a category for that type of band, like those garage rock. Come on, call it that, psychedelia.
But Henry Rollins always says about the tone of these bands from Detroit, the guitars. He even says Ted Nugent. The tone. That these guys come up with. MC5 had great tone on their guitars. Fred Sonic Smith and Wayne Kramer.
Sonic, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool. I wonder if it's a certain guitar, or if it's a certain
Wayne. Well, he used I think a Les Paul Jr. Maybe I've seen him with, and Fred Sonic Smith played a Rickenbacker actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rickenbackers. Has the Rickenbacker guitar kind of gone away? I don't know. I don't see many live bands. I don't at this point or anything. It'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's never gone away. It's used. It's a tool.
Yeah.
Okay. So another nominated artist has not been inducted is Joe Tex with 5 nominations.
Yeah, I think he should be in. Yeah.
Do you really? I know him, but I don't. I mean. Hold on. What you've got? Skinny legs. I gotcha. Wait,
I
skinny
gotcha.
Legs. That's it. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, okay. How about this one? Ain't gonna bump no more, quote unquote, with no big fat woman.
Yeah,
he's not gonna get in for that.
He was a Stax artist, I think. Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Huh? But all those 4 songs were million-selling hits. But is that alone enough to get you a nomination?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah.
Now, some of the comments are people said, some of these guys are not getting because they're not white. I mean, it could be a valid argument. I mean, given the fact
they got rid of Jan Werner, so
maybe that will change.
He just didn't like the women. I think it was the women he didn't want to.
Yeah, it seemed to be. Yeah. And it's. I mean, that thing. Did he write a whole lot of other songs for people that were?
He might have. Yeah, he might have been one of those guys.
Okay.
Bad luck.
I'm saying, based upon what I heard, I'm going to say maybe not Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but
maybe a local job, like
he just had bad luck. Every year they do the nominations, and maybe it's his turn, but then there's somebody that year. Oh, we got to get them in, and he gets shoved back. You know?
Yeah, or is he going in on one of those categories for? You know what I mean? One of those extra categories.
Like a contribution, yeah.
Contribution, inspiration, influence,
right. Right. I mean, someone said to me, is an artist eligible for 4 hit singles? I wouldn't say. I'd say maybe not. Just depending what the 4 singles were.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
How about this one, the Jay Giles Band?
Oh man,
I'm not a fan at all, but they should be in.
But it's about time. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah,
they should be in.
And our friend Dave Phillips, Scott McLean's friend, is a big fan. And So, okay, the Meters.
Yes. They should
New Orleans, right? Yeah.
New Orleans, yeah. Our ill-fated New Orleans.
Please.
I'm a procrastinator. I'm tanking it. I'm terrible.
They're super famous.
I'm working on things.
Influential. That's what we should get them in. Yeah.
Definitely influential. Okay, how about Rufus with Chaka Khan? Khan.
Well,
I don't know.
Rufus
I know
with
the one
Chaka
song.
Khan, right?
Rufus with Chaka Khan.
I believe Chaka Khan got in. So, yeah, Rufus should be in.
Yeah. But then again, don't forget, we don't listen to those are like R&B charts. You know, those are charts that we didn't necessarily listen to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We heard stations that we listen to.
Yeah.
Right.
We listen to rock radio, obviously.
Right.
But even like in the larger scheme of music, you know, we did hear a lot of other outside. I've heard a lot of R&B. Like AM radio was full of that stuff. Tell me something good. You know, like Brother Louie.
Yeah.
Actually, was that done by? Yeah. That was probably a white band, actually, Brother, that did Stories. But I mean, like I said, if they were up there with like Ohio Players, who I know more, or something. So, but hey, but Chaka Khan is in. So why? Like I said, why isn't Rufus? Because
that was on rock. That was on stations that I listened to.
Yeah.
Tell me something good.
Yeah, great song.
Yeah,
iconic. It's iconic, really.
Yeah.
A cool guitar sounds, or was that was that a talk box? Was that the Peter Frampton talk box?
It could have been, yeah. Well, it wasn't the Frampton talk box. I mean, it was,
but the days when music was a little more open, but the record labels kind of split everything up now. You won't hear R&B on a corporate programmed rock radio station anymore.
These were hit songs, 45 RPM hit songs.
Yeah. FM radio would play a lot of this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. How about this one? This is kind of weird. This might be a judgment call. Nominated 3 times, but not in as a solo. Graham Parsons.
Please.
Yeah, he should be there.
I'm a fan, so I say, he's got to.
I think just on the pioneering spirit, the whole
pioneer influence, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And
I'm not going to get in on his voice, but he'll get in.
I've always said I like hearing other people do his. I love hearing other people do his rendition, and him too. But I'm just
and Emmy Lou.
Oh, but I wonder about that one.
Raul Malo singing Operator Number 9. Oh God, that's so good.
Yeah. Okay.
Operator number 1.
Oh, number 1. Sorry, number 9's the
Revolution number 9.
You're thinking of
number 1.
You're thinking of that hit song "What a Day" number 9, written by Perry Dedovich and Lou Colicchio.
That's right, a classic song.
Which was our opening theme
this
for a
would
long
have come
time.
up. I would have a sample of it, but
hey,
alas,
such it is. Yeah. Okay, so how about this one? Nominated 3 times, but not in as a solo. Ben E. King.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Influence again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Spanish Harlem, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Stand by Me.
Now,
Under the Boardwalk, he sang, didn't he?
Under the Boardwalk might not have been him. The Drifters, when he went solo, the Drifters went on with another singer, but I think they had hits with another singer. Stand By Me, though. Was that him solo? Or that's him solo?
That's him solo.
I think it was Benny King. Yeah.
Put him in for that song alone.
Right?
Really?
I mean, if you can get in on one song, that's a type of song you should get in, because
that song is inspired.
Sure, it has.
It's ridiculous.
I heard John Lennon's version.
Yeah.
And it's been. I was going to do some John Lennon rock and roll album trivia, but I'll throw it in here now. I looked at the roster of musicians. Of course, Jesse A. Davis.
Yeah.
Died in the laundry room of a apartment building basement.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the 1980s.
Yeah. But the drummers on that album were Jim Keltner and Hal Blaine and some other guy that was very famous. But I did know Hal Blaine played on the rock and roll album. I want to know what songs Hal Blaine played on.
Wow. Yeah, really.
Because he sucked. He had no.
We have to break that down one day. Yeah.
Hal Blaine couldn't swing a sack of shit.
but he also didn't smoke 3 cartons of cigarettes a day either.
With the windows up with your grandchildren in the room.
24 hours in a day.
That's right.
20 I don't know how many cigarettes were in a pack of British cigarettes, but
probably 21.
Do the math, there was cigarette chain smoking.
I think he had him stuck in his CPAP oxygen mask when he slept at night, so he'd have this constant intake. Okay, so how about this one? So we did Ben E. Carlos. This one's been nominated 1,000 times. Bun E. Carlos.
Yes.
Put him in.
Yeah.
Put him in.
Wait.
I was just kidding. It was
I was
a
going to
joke.
say,
Yeah.
you said Benny King,
Benny
Bunny
King.
Carlos. I
Yeah,
get
Benny
it.
Carlos.
Wait,
I asked him one time if they were related.
Where's the bum?
You tell me. You tell me.
Damn, man.
You're
Hey, Lou.
Benny King, Bunny Carlos.
okay.
Hey, Lou.
Yo.
I was just trying to check the rock and roll album to see if I could find out what songs. They didn't say. They just list the drummers. Gary Malabar is the third drummer, by the way.
Gary Malabar. Barry Malamar.
I'd love a Malamar right now. Here's some. Jose Feliciano played on it. Do you think he's on Stand By Me? That sounds like
kind of
something.
it could be. It could be. I saw that too. That was wild. Klaus Vorman, of course.
Oh yeah.
Klaus Vorman. He's like this. Nope. So many people don't know who he is.
Right.
And his history. I mean, I told he influenced the Beatle haircut. Klaus Vorman had the Beatle haircut before the John and Paul and George and who's the other guy? Ringo.
Yeah.
It was John, Paul, George, and it's only Ringo.
Yeah. And there was a movie called Gringo. By the way,
Gringo.
Can I interject one thing? Nile Rodgers is who Mark was thinking of before.
Thank you, Perry. Thank you.
Yeah.
From Chic.
Right. Okay, so we went sidetracked, but that's good. Our next one is something we mentioned before that are not going in this year, A Tribe Called Quest. Okay. Nominated 3 times, but not in. War. My thumb is up.
Wow, I'm thumbs up with that. Yeah, my Cisco Kid.
Cause it's summertime. Spill the Wine with Eric Burden. I mean, that's a separate thing, but just based upon that alone.
Yeah.
And The World is a Ghetto. World is a ghetto. Yep. Lowrider. You said Lowrider, right?
I did not, but that was next. Yeah. They should be in there, absolutely. Yeah.
And they also did Gone, 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 should be Gone, Gone, Gone. No, that was Chili.
No, that was some Canadian band.
That was Chili Whack.
Chili Whack.
That's a weird name for a
Chili
band.
Whack and Beans.
Chili Whack. Okay. How about this one? Nominated 3 times, and I don't want them in the New York Dolls.
I agree.
I could give a shit.
They're talentless.
I don't like glam rock.
There's no talent there.
And you know what it means? Because it's hot, hot, hot. That's what that means. That's all that is.
They were the worst musicians.
Yeah.
But they had the nerve to dress up like, with makeup and high heels and
were they worse musicians than Twisted Sister?
No, worse musicians than Twisted Sister. Absolutely.
They were pretty bad, weren't they?
They were bad. Yeah.
They were bad.
Yeah.
There's not much there in their music. Buy a New York Dolls album. Yeah. There's no I'm surprised they're not in. Yeah. That's the kind of band you think would have been ushered in. Hey, it's David Johansen. We got to get him in. All right.
So we've had a few, actually quite a few unanimous thumbs up. That was a unanimous thumbs down on us.
That was a unanimous thumbs down. Yeah.
Okay. How about this one, Mark? I know how you feel. Nominated, and you mentioned it before. Nominated 2 times, but not in yet. Iron Maiden. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Put him in.
Bruce Dickinson says, "Fuck you. We don't give a shit."
Yeah.
You know
why? Because
I wouldn't either. I say that.
They know that their fans love them to death. They got the most loyal fans. They can still tour and pack arenas.
Yeah. Yep.
And just like Ozzy, such a profound effect on us metalheads, the 80s into the 90s.
Oh,
they were the best band for the new wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah.
Wow, you're a metalhead?
I was. Kind of still.
He likes the metal.
I still listen to Iron Maiden.
He likes that metal music. Mark likes metal.
Heavy metal.
He metals in other people's affairs.
But Iron Maiden, they should have been in already.
Yeah.
Okay. So we mentioned Eric B. and Rakim and Mary J. Blige. Nominated twice, but not in. The Smiths. Am I wrong?
Wow. They should be in there. I mean,
they will obviously.
Yeah.
They will. Not in now. This one's kind of weird. It's an older girl group, and I'm wondering why it's gotten this kind of note. Why they're considered not in. Nominated twice, the Chantels. So the Chantels were a girl group. Their biggest song was "Look in My Eyes and Tell Me You Love Me." It's in Goodfellas. It's an old 50s classic or early 60s, but that's all I could find on them. I'm like, what else was there to justify including
have
the rock and roll
hits.
fans?
You got to have some more influence.
They weren't the Ronettes, or the Shangri-La Das, the Shangri-La frickin' Das. That was
David
cover band.
David Fricky Dolls.
David who?
Fricky. Fricky and Fracky. Okay, we mentioned Jane's Addiction. How about this one? Nominated twice, not in yet. Soundgarden. They will. They will.
Yeah, they'll get in.
Yeah. Should they be in now?
I think
There's so many bands earlier that are older that should be in my opinion.
Okay.
Why should what do you call it, Dave Grohl's band be in before them?
Nirvana?
Yeah.
Or Foo Fighters?
Dave Grohl's current band. Yeah.
They're fucking huge.
Yeah.
They're fucking huge.
More LA than Seattle, probably.
You know what I heard about Foo Fighters? They said every Guitar Center TV commercial, radio commercial sounds like the Foo Fighters.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm sure they were copying it. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this one, another old girl group, the Marvelettes, nominated twice.
Wow.
Please, Mr. Postman was their big hit, and Don't Mess with Bill.
Don't mess with Bill.
Good song. Do you know who wrote that?
Don't mess with Bill. Yeah.
Do you know who wrote it? Giant in Motown. Huge.
Smokey Robinson.
You are correct, sir. Mark, nice call, man.
He wrote so many Motown hits.
Yeah.
So many.
Smokey,
I didn't know that until
Smokey,
I learned about it. There's many hits from other artists, man.
Mark, you may not remember this commercial. You might. There was an old commercial in the 70s, early-ish 70s, where it was for like some kind of radio. I don't know if it was one of those Columbia House things, but they show the guy who pulls up in his car. But Dad, it's Smokey. My son, he works on an airplane.
Find it.
Yeah, I've looked for a lot of those old commercials on YouTube, and some I couldn't find, but I did find "Mamma Mia." That's one spicy meatball. Okay, and we've got the Chantel. We did Marvelettes. Fela Kuti was he nominated? Anyway, not in.
You know what? If you're going to put in world musicians, he's up there. Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
It's got to be a world category.
Yeah. Yes.
Because he had influence on a lot of rock musicians.
Should be in. And here's one I forgot to research. Johnny Ace. There's probably a couple of big hits. Maybe several. Do you remember Paul Simon's tribute to John Lennon? The late great Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace. Yeah.
Right. Why did he call him Johnny Ace when there was a Johnny Ace?
I don't know.
Jacques Lemon.
I got Johnny Ace at the WWE.
Is he dead? Johnny Ray, he's always crying.
Poor old Johnny Ray.
Poor Johnny Ray.
You know how he died?
Who?
He died? Just like
Johnny Ace?
Yeah.
Johnny. Oh, really?
Playing with a .32 caliber revolver. And
don't play with guns.
Yeah. He
Don't
was playing
play
Russian roulette.
with guns.
He was playing Russian roulette. Oh, fuck him then. I'm sorry. You're a fucking idiot when you.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you know?
In Russia, it's called American roulette. In Russia, it's called American roulette.
Yeah.
Robbie Robertson.
Yeah. Yep.
Stake your life upon it. Can you see what hits Johnny Ace might have had or did have, or what guarantees him or should warrant him inclusion into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well.
Let's see. Johnny Ace.
Yeah.
That's not his real name. I bet.
Pledging My Love. Do you know that?
If I heard it. Sure, if I heard it.
Saving My Love for You. Never Let Me Go. How Can You Be So Mean? My Song Anymore. The Clock. I guess they were hits, but we don't know them because they didn't stick around like other hits of the era.
Was Johnny Ace an American or was he a Brit?
It's from Texas, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well,
and I think if we could play those songs right now, we'd probably say, "Oh yeah," because
recognize it. Yeah.
Sure. The oldie stations, Johnny Ace.
Yeah.
Oh, he was from Memphis, Tennessee. He was from good musical territory.
Cousin Brucey. Yeah.
Oh, he was signed by Ike Turner when he was a talent scout for Modern Records.
Wow.
Man.
Okay. So, all right. So that was so much for that. I got a trivia question here.
Yeah.
It's about the Rascals.
Okay.
The Rascals. How many times were the Rascals nominated before they got in? Was it once, 3 times, or 4 times nominated?
I'm going to say I'm gonna say they got in on the first ballot.
I'm going to say they were nominated once before they got in.
3 times.
Wow.
Crime.
I remember watching that when they played. And they were only allowed to do a medley, so they had to do a quick little medley. Yeah, yeah.
Well, did you hear Steve Van Zandt what took you so fucking long or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. He also said you can't stand up black without being Italian, but that's just a whole other story.
Yeah.
Okay. It was on the third time they got in, which is that's a sin. That's
that was the charm, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was the charm. Third time in. Okay. Yeah. So that was some Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's a good list going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay. So Perry, you were mentioning you were talking about some Muscle Shoals recording studios people or some artists they were associated?
Everyone knows Muscle Shoals, right? Muscle Shoals recording, right? But it was actually Fame Studios in late 1950s, 59. Rick Hall started Fame Studio, which is where that was where Muscle Shoals, that was where the Swampers, that's where they were. That's where they worked. Mm-hmm. Fame Studios. And so many people have recorded at Muscle Shoals. Well, I'll just add that in 1969, the members of the Swampers, which ended up being called the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section, right? Okay. There was Jimmy Johnson on guitar, Roger Hawkins on drums and percussion.
Mm-hmm.
There was David Hood on bass, and Barry Beckett on keyboards. Those 4 members wanted to start their own recording studio. They wanted to have their own recording complex. So they worked at Fame, and they were friendly with it, but they also started Muscle Shoals Recording.
Okay.
So there were 2 big studios. There were a couple of studios. There were Fame and Muscle Shoals Studios, which, Rick Hall started Fame, and those 4 members started Muscle Shoals Recording.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And some of the people that recorded at Muscle Shoals, here's a few names: Levon Helm, Willie Nelson, Dwayne Allman, Cher.
Never heard him.
Leonard Skinner recorded. Leonard Skinner in Sweet Home, Alabama mentions the Swampers, the band at Muscle Shoals, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What's the line? In Birmingham, they love to go. Something about that. They mentioned the Swampers in that song. Yeah.
Where's my donut?
Cat Stevens, Joe Cocker, Blackfoot, the Black Keys, Tamika Jones. I'm not sure who that is, but she recorded there. Somebody you guys are familiar with, Herbie Mann, recorded at Muscle Shoals.
Was he wearing a shirt? Was he wearing clothes when we did it?
I don't know. I don't know. But it could have been. It could have been at Fame Studios, or it could have been at Muscle Shoals. It was, the same band members were there. Did I say Cat Stevens?
Yes, you did.
Joe Cocker, George Michael recorded.
Wow,
there.
really?
Careless Whisper.
He recorded Careless Whisper at Muscle Shoals. Yeah.
No shit. Wow. Yep. Wow. Yeah. I wonder if Scott McClain knows that. Scott's a big George Michael fan.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Canned Heat. Boz Scaggs recorded apparently there with Dwayne Allman on guitar. I don't know what recording they're at, but Boz Scaggs recorded with Dwayne Allman.
Yeah, 1969. Yeah.
Bob Dylan recorded Gotta Serve Somebody there in 1979.
Oh, that was a Slow Train Coming.
Slow Train Coming, right?
With Mark Knopfler producing.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And there's more. You
can call me Zimmy.
Paul Simon recorded Kodachrome over there.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah, and he recorded another one there, too. Kodachrome.
So, now, some of these artists that recorded, is that the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section playing? Is that Roger Hawkins?
Yes,
Roger Hawkins played a lot of these
absolutely things, is, yeah.
Okay.
So even if you were as big as Paul Simon, you used their rhythm section. You didn't bring in your band.
Right. Now, but also the
why would you want to?
Yeah. Right.
Do you want the Wrecking Crew? I got my own people.
Yeah. In fact, like the Rolling Stones recorded Brown Sugar and Wild Horses at Muscle Shoals. Now, they recorded themselves. They didn't use Swampers or the rhythm section. But Bob Seger did when he recorded Main Street.
Yes,
Down on Main Street.
Yep.
That's Jimmy Johnson doing it. Mm-hmm. He came up with that. Yep.
Yeah. And Roger Hawkins. And that's Roger Hawkins. That's Roger Hawkins on It's Only Old Time Rock and Roll.
Now, it's interesting. When Rod Stewart came there, he recorded Tonight's the Night.
Yeah.
He was surprised. He says, I can't wait to meet the band. And he met the band, and he's like, they're all white guys. Rod Stewart thought they were all black guys.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah,
yeah, because they were soulful. Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Well, they played it behind Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, yep.
All those. I mean, When a Man Loves a Woman. That's, I don't know how many of the other guys there are, but that's Roger Hawkins.
Yeah,
playing one of the most simplistically brilliant drum parts I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, yep.
So deceptively simple.
R.B. Greaves, Take a Letter, Maria. But that's recorded at Muscle Shoals too. Yep.
Now, do we know was it
R.B. Greaves?
I'm thinking, who was the other guy that had
there's somebody with the letters. I know.
There was a guy that was supposed to host the first episode of
B.J. Honeycutt. It was B.J. Honeycutt.
Oh, Peg. No. Oh God. No. It was Take a Letter. I can't. The guy was supposed to be the first.
Yes, you had
artist
mentioned that.
on Austin City Limits.
They had audio troubles. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but ended up being Willie.
That was him. Or Take a Letter.
I think it was R.B. Greaves. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that on the radio. It was so nice. Just to my wife. That was in the jukebox too at the bowling alley. Yeah.
Yeah. Top 40 AM hit.
Aretha, respect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Muscle Shoals.
And
Muscle Shoals, they got the groom.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, and
a lot of Bob Seger though too, right?
A lot of Bob Seger. In fact, I heard a version of the guy who wrote. He wrote, "Just take those old records off the shelf."
I hate that song.
Yeah, I know, but he did a demo of it, and Bob Seger heard
that's that. Unanimous thumbs down on old time rock and roll, right?
Yeah, because of the thumb emojis. I think of Tom Cruise in this sock sliding across the floor,
tidy whities,
God, dress shirt. I don't like this part. It lost me. What was that? 1980.
Yeah,
Clarence Carter recorded Patches. I'm depending on your son. That was I loved hearing that on the radio. That
it was a great old man.
Yeah, that gave me chills.
With a shovel in it. Yeah, great song.
At Muscle Shoals or Fame, the Osmonds recorded "One Bad Apple Don't Spoil the Whole Bunch of Girls."
It didn't help. So is that the studio's first and only failure?
They come in and say, "Give us some soul."
Here's a hit. Give us some soul.
Careless Whisper, George Michael. Yep.
Yeah. I think that is so cool.
Volat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. We talked about Volat a little while back.
Yeah. Remember? Phil Ramone came in to.
We were still doing album reviews.
Yeah.
And
Wilson Pickett when you mentioned after Mustang Sally there, Jerry Wexler was at the helm.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of those songs you should never play in a band again.
What?
It's like old time rock and roll. I don't want to hear it. You know?
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Because why? You know what the problem is? Most
or anything by Jimmy Buffett.
Most cover bands can't play Mustang Sally properly. That's what makes it so bad.
Tell me about it. I've been on the drums and people wanted to do that.
Paul Simon also recorded "Love Me Like a Rock."
Oh hell yeah!
Love Me Like a Rock. He recorded that there too. Phil Ramone is at the helm in that one too.
Wow!
Oh, wow!
Yeah,
Phil Ramone. That's a guy with. I think his production has, of all the producers we've talked about, he might be like the least rock and roll of all of them. I mean, Billy Joel. Yeah. He's a rock artist, but much more other forms and genres in scope. But like Frank Sinatra. I mean, did Tom Dowd record Frank Sinatra or Glenn Johns? No, but Phil Ramone did.
Yeah. But Phil Ramone got great sound, though. These guys are engineers, too. Not just producers, they're engineers. Great sound.
I did like the sound of Glass Houses by Billy Joel. I didn't like the drum sound. It's all rock and roll to me. The tom-tom, it's almost, that sounds like the Three's Company theme, actually.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
It's boxy, right,
I always sort of said it's still rock and roll. I mean, then I always used to think he says, "Come on, Ringo."
No, he was trying to be Bruce. He said, "Come on, big guy."
Right.
He couldn't call him Big Man because Bruce would have been killed.
And then later on,
he sent the boys from Jersey over to Long Island.
Remember when Billy Joel put on Telecaster and did the 1, 2,
Yeah,
he was copying Bruce. Totally copying Bruce.
Yes, he was. He was sawing his guitar in half like Bruce was.
Yeah.
He should have gone on to the Live for Today. Sha la 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 la. Let's after that intro. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sha-la.
Some love is just a pain in my ass.
But that was so a lot of those people recorded at Muscle Shoals, either Fame Studios but the 4 guys that were in the band, those 4 main guys started their own recording studio, Muscle Shoals Sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. But we're still friendly. They still went to Fame, and there was no animosity or anything like that.
Yeah.
So does the Muscle Shoals studio still exist?
Fame Studios is on the registry of classic, that whatever it's called. So Fame Studios is still there. You can do a tour if you're in Sheffield, Alabama,
Yeah. So no, it was a studio in Birmingham.
Well, Fame Studios was in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
So that's actually the name of the town.
Apparently, it's in the northern part of the state, and it's called, they refer to it as the Shoals. Okay. So Muscle Shoals, but Muscle Shoals Sound was in Sheffield, Alabama. Yeah.
See, I'm seeing that it was made into a museum, a tourist attraction, but they kept the recording studio at night, so you couldn't record there during the day. So in 2017, Rival Sons, who are a pretty big rock and roll band, they recorded there. Kiefer Sutherland recorded with Swamper David Hood in 2017.
Wow.
Yeah. My Kiefer Sutherland impersonation?
Yeah.
The Capitol's been under attack. Okay, you can move.
Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots.
All right.
Yeah, so,
was the house physician called Dr. Scholes?
Oh,
Jesus, man.
Sheckies, ladies and gentlemen. He's on at 5 now. He doesn't get the prime spot anymore.
Early bird specials. I have to be in bed by 8.
Pull out your drumsticks. Who's got drumsticks?
I got mine.
Drumsticks.
Ready?
Look,
let's see if you can catch this. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Well, you're all stiff too.
Oh, come on, man. Do it again. I have no timing. All right.
It's latency.
Yeah.
I'm in Tokyo.
Yeah. This is for you, Lou.
Yeah. Muscle
Shoals. Go to hell, Mark.
I'm not
well,
really
I think you should get that big ring and you put a little thing, put a pin in your drumstick and just spin it.
Yes. Well, I'll have it implanted into my knuckle.
Not good for arthritis.
It was creepy. Yeah.
I was trying to twirl sticks the other day. I'm like, I'd have to diligently practice it. That's stupid.
But the reason that I twirl them is because I used to do air drums all the time. So when you don't really play drums, you can concentrate on twirling.
Exactly.
I never really played
Instead
drums.
of practicing in a real kit, Mark, right?
Yeah. I'm just sitting there banging to, on the pillows.
Sticks on my pillows. All right, so are we done with Muscle Shoals?
We're done with Muscle Shoals.
That was really cool because
I was surprised that so many people recorded there. Yeah.
Yep. Do you think I'll ever go to Alabama? I know I won't. I'm closest actually.
I saw some pictures of the Stones recording there, and there was a big bottle of Jack, of course, or it was
filled with iced tea.
Some other like old country bourbon or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving along, Mark, you're going to talk about we've had some passings. You talk about the transitioning musicians and stuff, and people. When you hear about them that they're gone, but then you're like, what did you know about them? And you find out some things, So what's up?
Yeah. So this week, we lost Toby Keith, and for years I was the anti-Toby Keith guy. Perry remembers in the laundromat, I'd be railing against Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Why?
And
How come?
Because basically that song The Angry American came out, and this week the New York Times called my bluff. They had a fantastic op-ed from Michael Patrick Smith. The title is Toby Keith was an enigma wrapped in a riddle wrapped in the flag. He fooled a lot of us. I didn't like him, yet not liking him, I actually bought one of his albums called Clancy's Tavern and liked it because the songs were really good. They made me want to cry, and I just never I am listening, but I hate him. He really was a good songwriter when he wanted to be. He had, the problem is it was new country. So you know, you have the stupid like Red Solo Cup. Just don't like that song.
And knowing you as well as I do, it was also presumed
That's
politics.
Song, Red Solo Cup.
Yeah,
presumed politics.
Yeah, well, what happened was
political affiliation.
Yeah,
right.
So this is a good thing to say about country, because everyone that is conservative assumes every country musician is conservative. And I've always said, if you go back, Willie, he's not conservative. Merle Haggard, centrist, you know. It's just the new, and I think it's been adopted, because so when I heard that song by Toby Keith, I saw it. He was just this guy that used the flag to make money.
Yeah.
And anyway, so this is a little quote here. So this is what the guy said. To casual listeners, the angry American heralded Mr. Keith's coming out as a conservative, pro-war, red state warrior, and he did little to dissuade that impression. But like country music and like the rural America Mr. Keith hailed from, he was more complicated than that. And that's basically true. All right. So, you know, they compare that song kind of to Okie from Muskogee. That came out like a big conservative anthem. And
in fact, you and I discussed that the other day. Like, Merle Haggard's getting high with Willie Nelson, like, you know, smoking their brains out. But yet, you know, you think of Okie from Muskogee. We don't smoke marijuana down Old Main Street, you know?
But what he said was, you called out my bluff. I automatically assumed that he was conservative. Well, no, you know, listen to this one. Mr. Keith's political affiliations could be just as confounding. He was a Democrat until 2008, when he switched his registration to independent, not Republican. And in 2009, he traveled to Oslo to perform at a celebration of President Barack Obama being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
Cool.
Now, in 2017, he headlined President Donald Trump's inauguration, where he took a moment to thank Obama from the stage.
Wow.
So, you know, I like this, and I just love this quote. And again, it's Michael Patrick Smith, New York Times.
Yeah.
He was a throwback, and this really hit home to me. He was a throwback to a time when a man could play guitar with an American flag on it, wearing an American flag on a shirt in front of the American flag, and nobody would assume he voted one way or the other. The days when Jerry Garcia had the American flag on stage, you know, and you know, so he was he was more deeper than I gave him credit for. I got to tell you, Clancy's Tavern is about him living with his grandmother who owned a bar, and it's one tear-jerking song, and it's a great lyrics, just awesome lyrics. Cool. So yeah, he was a really good songwriter at times, you know. So I'm not going to go out and buy all his albums, but I'm sorry I dissed him for years, but that's what happens in country music. Nashville, they turn you into that star, you know.
Right, and you said the assumptions of what your affiliations are. I mean, I live in that kind of part of the country, and I've learned since being here that, you know, not everyone you meet is who you think they might be. You know, as far as, you know, some friends, like a lot of the folk here, a lot of them could be very centrist. You know, they're just, a lot of them are, you know, some are always going to be this way or that way, but some people are looking for what they might call a sensible center in a lot of ways.
And when someone has a huge hit and it's taken by one side as this is our anthem, I no longer will assume that performer is of that persuasion, political persuasion, and that's on both sides, you know. So
unless you're singing about Coors Light.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And Gulf and Western.
Yeah.
So anyway, R.I.P. Toby Keith. He died much too young. Another thing, when he was young, he worked in the oil fields, so he came from, you know, hard-working background.
He was a roughneck, huh?
He wasn't from New Jersey, singing about singing my life away or whatever. No, I'm sorry, that was bad. Eddie
really, don't diss Eddie Rabbit, pal. All right.
Yeah. I love a ring.
Tread lightly.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I never knew until he passed that he did that song. I Should Have Been a Cowboy.
Yeah.
Because at that time, you know, whenever that came out, it was probably a long time ago. I was not into that country, but that's a catchy chorus. I should have been a cowboy. I was like, okay, you know, never deny somebody a hook.
I think he came to Nashville singing country music, and like what happens to every new country artist, they get molded by the producers in the studio, and they become slick.
Yeah. There's an image too, you know, had to have the hat, had to have the, you know, and like I said, I don't know much about him. I'm sorry the guy died.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
I could care less about any political.
Would he be in the same kind of category as, like, say, Travis Tritt, where
I think he would be. Yeah,
the modern country artists, but we would consider them cool. Let's face it, because I'm not into the hackneyed stuff, but a good song is a good song.
Yeah, I hate the word hate. I just hate the new country. It's
formulaic. It's the same producers, the same process. Yeah. It all sounds the same.
You have newer country singers, like Travis Tritt isn't new, but he was, 80s on. He had a connection to the old country. Same with George. The guy that he retired. I can't remember his name. There's a couple of them that had mega hits, but they had the voice reminded you of the old country, which. Yeah, it's again. I think I've told you nothing gives me goosebumps like a good country song, because it really is from the heart.
You're talking about from the old. You're talking about from the old country. I'm from the old country.
Yes. Yeah. Would you like some vodka?
Transylvania, the old country. Guys, can you talk amongst yourselves for a moment?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, Perry.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. This is the fundraising part of the show, right?
Yeah. No, you had mentioned. All right. So you had mentioned what's his name, Toby Keith, but you had someone else passed away too, right?
Oh yeah. I want to wait till Lou comes back to talk about that. Let's see if he wants to tackle that. We don't want too many dead musicians in a row.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're worthy of a mention anyway, right?
It's funny when the artist dies and they're older and everyone goes, "Well, he lived a long life," but some of them still hurt. Like, if they're relevant till the end, like when Willie Nelson passes, I'm going to be crushed because he's still putting out albums.
Right, but it's inevitable. Also, I mean, Willie Nelson's 90, right? So
you know who shocked a lot of people, and made them realize that our heroes are old, is Jeff Beck. No one thought he was going to die, and he died, and it just shocked a lot of people.
Well, yeah.
And I'm still just choked up over that one.
Really?
Yeah, because it came as a surprise. He died of a virus,
Yeah, I know, but I mean, well, that's you. I mean, you were weeping at Gary Moore last week, right?
I was weeping at how good his playing was. He's soulfulness, and not so much that he died. It's just that hits me.
And by the way,
heart.
that the Greenie Les Paul that he used that all the time. It was not a special guitar.
I thought he left it at home.
No,
wow.
What? It's not that special. It's only that special now.
Yeah,
that somebody would pay $1 million for it.
Right.
I mean, it went from Peter Green to Gary Moore and then he fell on financial hard times. Gary Moore. Yeah. Then he sold it to some investor, bought it, and that's when the price jumped. Once an investor starts buying a guitar, that's why Kirk Hammett had to pay over $1 million for it, but he wanted it, and he uses it though.
It's
not. Well, why did he bring it on? It's not that it wasn't that valuable. It was a good Les Paul.
I'll give Kirk Hammett that he paid $1 million, but he's using it. He
may have paid $2 million.
Well, someone that would put it on a wall and just put it in a glass case,
like the investor that bought it from when Peter Green when Gary Moore fell on hard times. He sold it to an investor. Yeah. And hopefully he got. Hopefully he got
some stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Lou,
you're the
what's
host,
next?
man.
I'm the host.
Oh
okay.
Yeah. So while you were away, Mark was mentioning he wanted to mention someone else who passed away too. But he wanted to wait till you come
passings
back.
in one, or we'll come back.
Yeah.
Why not? Right?
Why don't we do let's do the obits tonight?
Bring it on down.
Move on. Yeah.
On the Debbie Downer of the show. Okay. So another death this week, and he died in a way that we know Bob Dylan will die, and we know in the way Willie Nelson will die. Is Mojo Nixon, 66 years old, not old. I don't know much about him. I just know him basically from a couple songs, including Don Henley Must Die, which I'll play a track from.
Yep.
Interesting about his death.
Don Henley got the last laugh, by the way.
Yeah, but Don Henley had a sense of humor. He played that song with him, right?
Don Henley has no sense of humor. He has no lips.
It's all business. Yeah.
But this is what I meant about Bob dying like a troubadour, because he was on a outlaw country cruise, right? And the boat, you know these musical cruises. These guys all play for the people that go on it. So they were docked in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and he played a show on the ship. Then he spent all night at the bar, and he went to bed, and he never woke up. I think that, like, and I'm sure he didn't just drink. I think this was a John Entwistle type event. But
I think he was like a hell bent for leather kind of guy in a lot of ways.
God,
he was. To me, he was like sort of a Captain Beefheart, like sort of little, wacky,
in like a psychobilly kind of way. Yeah,
yeah. Psychobilly's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Well, the paper I was reading said his genre was primarily psychobilly, which blends punk, country, and rockabilly with heavy bass lines. That's a kind of a good description. Here's something I did not know. Did you know that he played the drummer in Great Balls of Fire?
Really?
He played Jerry Lee Lewis's right. John Doe was the
was in the
band.
Which Quaid was it? Dennis Quaid as Jerry Lee?
Yeah. So John Doe
was there. So Mojo Nixon was the other guy, huh?
He was the drummer.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. His name was a mashup. Came from two opposite ends of the political spectrum, so to say. Mojo, which is just lots of sexual energy, and Nixon from Richard M. Nixon, which is, I like that. They did that. Some of his song titles, just to touch base real quick, because if anyone doesn't know, this is Are You Drinking With Me, Jesus? I'm Gonna Dig Up Howlin' Wolf. Debbie Gibson is Pregnant with My Two-Headed Love Child.
I remember that one.
Love Me, I'm a Liberal. That's my theme song.
Yes.
Drunk Divorce Floozy. There's other ones. I mean,
Captain Beefheart. Yeah.
Will the fetus be aborted? That's holy cow.
It's always like with the circle being
wow.
broken.
Yeah.
That's great. That's fucking clever. That's a clever title.
Drinking Jesus at McDonald's. That's another one.
Yep.
Not as much as football. I mean, where the hell's my money? I just like these song titles, statements. I'm in love with your girlfriend. Louisiana lip lock. Stuffing Martha's muffin.
That was about Martha Quinn from MTV.
Was it?
Yeah.
So as a writer, never took anything too seriously.
Actually, no. His
lyrics, it was kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But his lyrics, even the funny ones, sometimes, unlike Frank Zappa, who would just put wacky lyrics, they would actually have serious undertones. Yeah. I think the Don Henley one was a commentary on the music business.
It was all. Yeah, it was a comment. I mean, I do think it was a dig at him and the Eagles too in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, like he was all about fun and and at that time, remember the End of the Innocence.
Yeah.
All this stuff. I remember thinking, I said, I do respect Don Henley as an artist, but at that point, I'm like, can you lighten up a little bit? I was in the mood I was in musically.
Yeah.
Wanted something just not quite so. The End of the Innocence says who you.
Yeah.
But actually, I think Mojo Nixon should have been pissed off at Travis Tritt, because Travis Tritt let him get back together with Glenn Frey.
Oh, yeah.
Serious artist.
Here, I'll play a quick clip here.
Oh, Mark has a sample.
Yeah, I'm going to play the beginning of the song. Whoop. I hate that they have to make you sit through an ad before you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silence.
Wait.
This is the sound of my brain. Then I said, this is the sound of my brain on Don Henley. Then I said, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Made to be a hit, but I'll just get to the. I'll get to the.
But it's good. It sounds good. It's like punkabilly, whatever. Yeah.
Just don't care. Don Henley must die.
Don't let them get back together. That's clever. He laughed when he wrote that line.
Yeah.
He laughed a lot.
But Don Henley has a sense of humor to actually perform that with Mojo Nixon, right?
So listen to this one.
But well, I don't think he did initially. You know why? Because I heard a radio interview and Henley goes,
Yeah.
I will die, Mr. Nixon, but not on your timeline.
He was Smith first.
I'll die when Irving Azoff says I can die.
So this is a very poetic description. So Mojo was on stage with the Toad Lickers at the Hole in the Wall venue in Austin, Texas.
That's the name of his band, the Toad Lickers.
Yeah. Toad Lickers, but Lickers is spelled liquor, Liquors.
Yes.
Okay. So someone told him that Don Henley, whom he had savagely maligned, was in the crowd that night. See, this sounds so dramatic. He says, I took my guitar off, put it back on. Did that like 3 times. Then got on the mic and said, Don, do you want a debate? Do you want a fist fight?
Sorry.
I'm making you sneeze.
Those
So instead, Mr. Henley joined him on stage to sing Don Henley Must Die, whose lyrics, you and your kind are killing rock and roll. It's not because you are old. It's because you ain't got no soul. See, that was a commentary on music. Then when they were done, Henley shook his hand and went off stage. No harm done,
And
but
got
he's
into a
good.
limo.
He could have had him killed.
Yeah.
And went to his mansion in Los Angeles, right?
He went to his carefully air-conditioned controlled hotel room.
Yes.
Yeah. I was telling Perry before the show.
Listen
I
up
found
your
out that
ponytail.
he lived in Cincinnati.
What?
He always what?
Why?
He lived in Cincinnati. I thought he would have been an L.A. guy. He just seemed like a John Doe type,
He's a Midwestern guy.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I've been listening to his music this week. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I heard some stuff too. I mean, it's novelty of a sort.
It is.
But he did have that that rock and roll rockabilly spirit. Last week I heard it. I don't know if it was a repeat show, but it was on Outlaw Country on XM. He had a show. I forgot the name of the show.
He had a regular show for a while, so they're probably playing him because he died. Yeah.
No, he's been. I've been hearing him before he died. He was on there for a while.
Oh, he was still on. Okay,
but I don't know if that was current or if that was like something they rebooted.
Maybe. Yeah.
Cool.
But the thing was, Don Henley got back together with Glenn Frey.
He killed music.
Yeah. Hell froze over, right?
Yes, it did. Okay, let's see.
I still haven't had a beer. I'm Joe Walsh.
Itch. All right, so let's move on to some trivia. Random trivia. I got random notes. So I have a question for you fellas.
Yes.
It is a multiple choice question. What is the oldest drum factory in the United States? And in the United States. I'll leave it at that. And maybe the world. It's A through D. Oh, I dropped my pen cap.
Is it the one in Massachusetts?
I'm not going to talk to you about this. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Hang on.
It sucks picking up a pen when you got a bad back, I'll tell you.
Is it
I think Lou
Massachusetts?
dropped the guitar pick.
He dropped all his records.
You're going to kick me in the leg? Inside. Okay, so the oldest drum company in the United States, is it A, Rogers, B, Noble and Cooley, C, Gretsch, or D, Slingerland?
It's Noble and Cooley.
I'm going with that, too. I just love that name.
You both are correct, and they were made in Granville, Massachusetts. How did you know that, Perry?
Yeah, because I saw a mini doc on that company, and they're
did?
the oldest drum manufacturers in the United States.
When did you see this?
I saw it up on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, it was recommended to me. Yeah.
Yeah, they're made in Granville, Massachusetts. I mean, they go back. They were supplying. They made toy drums originally.
Yeah. Yep.
And then were we repeating a segment from earlier?
No.
Okay. If so what? But then they provided marching drums for those poor, unfortunate drummers in the Civil War for the Union Army because they were based out of Massachusetts. Yeah, I'd like to be carrying a drum into battle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well,
I'm done.
You're gonna get. That's like being a radio man. You
Get picked up real quick. Because someone on the other side saying that fucking guy's he's off tempo.
Yeah, or carrying the flag.
Load up my musket ball. Yeah,
target.
It was I shot you with a blunderbuss. Okay, so you both were correct, and I was that was good. That was good.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, toy drums are first. Okay, Noble and Cooley Dan. We got the Rascals. We got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We were cruising along here.
Yeah.
Okay. Question: how much were the Beatles offered to play SNL? Was it A, $3,000, B, $2,000, or C, $5,000?
$5,000.
I'm going with Perry on that one too.
$5,000.
Wrong. $3,000. That's the standard rate.
Really?
Yep. Okay, here's some Beatle trivia facts or so. These are Paul's least favorite Beatles songs. Do you agree or disagree? Revolution 9.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Okay, good. All Things Must Pass could have been put on in that place. Your Blues. Interesting.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah, they recorded that at the Small Room, apparently.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, okay. Yeah.
I would say it's too simple for him. I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe, or it's just he thought it was kind of routine or something.
Apparently, it was done live too in a small room.
In a small room, yeah,
with that Clapton there too, right? Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this one I agree. Beforehand, Across the Universe. I still like it.
I love that song.
I
love it.
I don't like the Let It Be version. I like the single version that he did for charity or something, where he recorded
with
in
the wildlife
house or
in the
something.
beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna vote my son because both Louis and I don't really like this song, so it's a tie.
How can you not like that song? It's beautiful.
Well, the Let It Be version has all the Phil Spector heavenly choirs and.
Okay, my problem. It's funny as much as I love John Lennon, some of the stuff he did, I just think it sounds very cold and harsh.
He was cold and harsh.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I see him at Twickenham. They were the whole first Let It Be movie is a sham. It's very misleading as to what they were really going through. Yeah, it was January. Maybe the first days were cold and stuff. But as you can see, as that movie went on, the Let It Get Back movie,
the space was too vast. Yeah, but it was.
Nobody's going to make the Beatles suffer anywhere. I mean, I think that was overplayed.
Not in 1969.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so exactly, because like John Lennon told Glenn Johns, "We're big stars, you know."
Yeah,
especially with the prospect of a reunion concert, that was huge. You know, people were like, "Oh, yeah."
They went the spectrum from playing it in like a Coliseum in Spain to like the rooftop of their building.
Or something, right?
Yeah, Paul
should have went to Shea Stadium.
Named after like famous.
The roof
Cuban
was the best
revolutionary
idea.
Shea
It was
Stadium.
just so perfect. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. Who owns the Beatles' Shea Stadium suits? Like Madame Tussauds or something?
Michael Jackson.
Somebody bought all the outfits that they.
I'm kind of wondering. Like you've heard about guitars, other memorabilia. Like,
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Hard Rock Casino.
Really?
I think so. Right?
Okay. Just wondering. Okay.
Or
moving along for Paul's least favorite Beatles songs, "Little Child."
I don't like that song either.
Yeah, it's a toss off. I mean,
I'm so sad and lonely. Baby, take a chance
with me. Little Child. Well, it's called Little Child. How about that?
Yeah, but the little harmonica,
Wait, did Ringo sing that?
Well, this country that was on, as Mark says, Beat the Beatles, right? So
yeah,
it was the seaside of. So who sang that song?
John Lemon.
That was John. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Don Lemon.
Okay. How about this one? "Hold Me Tight." Hold me tight.
That's an odd-paced song. Yeah. Bump, 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 bump. It feels so. I don't know.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
How about this one? "I'm just happy to dance." Or "I'm happy just to dance with you."
Ooh, what's he? That's a George song.
That's an early George song.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. George didn't write that probably. Or did he?
Before those dances, great rhythm though. Great rhythm guitar playing on that song. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's classic 50s guitar rhythm. I don't know. I'm okay with that one.
Yeah, I am too.
Now this one, "What You're Doing." What you're doing?
What you're doing?
That has a weird.
So Paul, these are not Paul's non-favorite songs, right?
These are Paul's least favorite, according to this website. His least favorite Beatles songs. Now, "What You're Doing" has a weird break on the piano. It's a weird song. I kind of thought it was neat.
Yeah, might have been George Martin.
Yeah, and lastly, "Tell Me What You See."
How does that one go?
Now, the last two songs both had George Martin on keyboards. How can I get through? Tell me what you see.
Yeah. That sounds like an old ballad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bet you Paul just disagreed with the arrangement. You know, he wanted it to sound a little different.
Or maybe thought nothing
or
was
they
very
sounded like
distinct
crap on those songs too, you know.
Not after the remixes.
Yeah, none of the remixes is right.
Not after the remixes, Robbie.
I heard one of them on the radio. I forgot what it was. It might have been "Love Me Do," and like on the way to work, and I said, "Wow, it's a different song," you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, we have any more trivia? Any more trivia we got here? Let's see.
Cool.
I got some psychedelic trivia.
Really?
Psycho trivia.
Psycho trivia. Psychedelish.
Acid trivia. Yeah.
Acid trivia. Yeah, man. Scooby Wow. What was the first album to label itself as psychedelic? The first album. There are many psychedelic bands that we consider psychedelic, but this was the first album where they said this is psychedelic music. Was it A, the 13th Floor Elevators with the album This Is the Psychedelic Sounds of the 13th Floor Elevators? Was it B, Cream Disraeli Gears? Actually, the first record came out in 1966. Disraeli Gears was 1967. That's that golden age of psychedelic.
Yeah.
The Blues Magoos, Psychedelic Lollipop, 1966, or the Jefferson Airplane After Bathing at Baxter's, which I think was 1967. The first one to say this is psychedelic.
I would guess.
I would go with Airplane.
Annoying Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah, I agree.
Wrong. The 13th Floor Elevators.
Wow.
Roky Erickson.
Wow.
And I was listening to that before we went on today. It's great. It's like garage rock and some psychedelia kind of blend in together.
Yeah, there is sort of a cross meshing.
Yep. But yeah. So that was some trivial.
Cool.
Where are we now? I think we're almost done.
Well, I have some random stuff. We have.
You have any trivia? You got some trivia?
I have no trivia. I have couple of random subjects.
Okay. Yeah.
You mentioned this earlier, and Michael Shannon, the actor. You know who he is, right?
Yes.
Michael Shannon.
Yes. He played the Iceman. He played Kuklinski.
That was him.
That was him. Yeah. And General
He
Zod
and a guy named Jason Narducci.
Yeah.
From the Chicago area. They're doing a tour. It's called the In Progress Tour. And they've been going around playing REM's Murmur in its entirety. They played in Carsboro, North Carolina. Carborough, North Carolina.
Carborough.
They played at the 40 Watt Club in Athens, and Mark.
How appropriate.
Yeah.
All 4 REM members were there.
However,
Michael Stipe did not perform, but Bill Berry, revisiting what he did in the studio, played piano on Perfect Circle.
Damn.
What a perfect circle.
Yeah.
And Peter Buck played guitar on it. Mike Mills sang.
Yeah.
He sang a couple of songs. He sang Rockville. Don't go back to Rockville. He sang Pretty Persuasion. He sang a few others. But Michael Stipe did not perform. But there on YouTube, you can find a clip of Michael Shannon and all the other guys with him on stage. And then REM walks out. The crowd goes crazy.
Yeah.
They all hug Michael Stipe. They're all hugging each other. But this is a Spin Magazine article, but Michael Stipe did not perform.
Okay.
And the guy, Jason Narducci, he says, it's one thing to play REM songs in front of REM. Like, wow, that's a different thing to do.
Oh, yeah. They said they were both nervous. You know, they did this thing as like a fun thing, and then it started taking off, actually. So a couple theaters that they played it in, they were asked to, other theaters and smaller venues heard the wind of this and asked them to come along and play, so it became a tour, right?
Yeah, and they do it for charity, and so they've done it like they've done maybe they said in the past they've done like the Modern Lovers. They would play the whole Modern Lovers album, and things like that. So that's pretty cool.
That is.
Did you know Michael Shannon was a musician?
I didn't know, or a singer or something, right?
Yeah. I didn't know. He's American, right? He's an American.
Michael Shannon, yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah, he's probably our age. He's probably close to our age, if not a little younger, or whatever. But of the same genre, where like this guy's he's a well-known actor. If you see him in the movies, he plays a lot of heavy. He played a mafia hitman.
He plays some oddball roles. He was
General Zod. And Superman killed him in a movie.
Oh, yeah, but I saw him. He starred in a miniseries.
Yeah. He was wasn't he in Boardwalk Empire or like Peaky Blinders or Blinders or whatever it's called? I don't watch Brit TV at this point in my life.
Peaky Blinders. He might have been.
He's one of those
like Blinders.
He's one of those shows.
Yeah, he was in a
from another time.
He played an FBI agent in a miniseries called Waco about what happened in Waco, Texas, with the ATF and the FBI and all that. So I'm reading this book on Bob Dylan. I got to the part where Stan Lynch, where Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were touring.
Did he burn down his house?
No. For 2 years, they were touring with Bob Dylan.
Right.
And they were supposed to rehearse one afternoon at 2 p.m. It was scheduled. We rehearsed at 2. And that particular day, Stan Lynch had tickets to see Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra at the Greek Theater.
Wow.
Bob didn't show up till 5.
Oh.
So the rehearsal was supposed to start at 2. Bob shows up at 5.
Wow.
And now, an hour later, Stan is like, guys, I got to go, man. I got to go.
Oh,
and
shit.
The Heartbreakers and Tom Petty are giving him like, where the fuck you going, man? Where the fuck you going? Bob Dylan says, where you going, man? And Stan tells him, I have tickets to see Frank. And Bob's like, I love those guys. Stan Lynch takes Bob Dylan.
No shit.
Takes him to the show. Yep.
Ah, that's great.
To see,
that's so cool.
But they said Bob had his sweatshirt with the hood on.
Don't bother him. Don't bother him when he's got that on.
Yeah.
So they're so now Bob is in Stan Lynch's car, and Stan is terrified. He's like, "What if Bob Dylan comes up? Do I turn the radio on? What if Bob Dylan's song comes on the radio? What's going to happen? What's going to happen?" So they got there, and they first Sammy was on, and standing ovation. After Sammy plays, and Bob thought the show was over. After that, and Stan's like, he grabbed him by sweatshirt. It's like, no, Frank's coming on.
Oh my God,
and,
what a weirdo.
So people started to figure out. Nobody really knew it was Dylan because he had his hood on, his hoodie. But people started to figure it out after a while. Frank Sinatra found out that Dylan was there, and invited him backstage after his set to meet in the dressing room.
To be a fly on that wall.
Stan Lynch is like,
scotch.
Man, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Bob's like, let's get out of here. He didn't want because he didn't want to. Bob never wanted to do. I'm Bob Dylan. He wasn't like that.
Okay. So it was like he was, the meeting of like Elvis and the Beatles,
correct.
That kind of thing.
He did not want that. Exactly. That's a good analogy. He
Too
didn't
bad
want
for
that
Stan
at all.
But I will say, I'll bet you that Frank Sinatra was insulted that Bob Dylan didn't come back. Right? I think he was.
I don't think so. Stan Lynch really wanted to go, but
Yeah, I know. Frank was like, Julie, break his legs.
So another random story. Apparently,
one thing. Stan Lynch is a big guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4". He's like Mark. He's like 6'4". But when he joined the Heartbreakers, Petty goes, "Look, you can be in the band." He goes, "You can't threaten anybody." But apparently, I've heard things about Stan Lynch. He's had a great career post Heartbreakers, and he was always very.
He said that.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Iovine made him insecure about his drumming, probably. But I've heard one thing about him. I think Mike Campbell said he's a hysterically funny guy. Don Henley said he's a bottomless well of one-liners. I want to meet the guy.
Bumped heads with Tom Petty all the time. Apparently,
But the fact that Stan Lynch grabbed Dylan by the sweatshirt, I'm picturing
him from behind.
I'm just picturing there's this big dude grabbing
like little
Bob Dylan saying, "Hey, where you going?"
Well, Bob Dylan.
He's feisty.
What I read,
he's feisty.
I read that he's slippery. He can disappear. Like his manager goes crazy. He'll be with him, and he's a way of just slipping out, and nobody knows.
He could disappear into a crowd.
Yeah.
That's what he liked to do. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, like Paul McCartney in the early Beatlemania days when Paul would don costumes and walk around.
Stan Lynch amazes me because, like, I buy albums from so many different kinds of artists, and he's writing songs on them. Like, he's written for so many people.
Producing.
I got the Steve Lukather album. He wrote 3 songs on it. I'm like, he just gets around, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Who's the dog on the Jetsons?
Rastro.
He's like, Reeve Rukather.
I love you, Reeve Rukather.
It's Rook to you. Rook.
Okay, here's another one. Apparently, Ozzy Osbourne says he will sue. Apparently, Kanye West has changed his name again. Now he's known as Yee, Y-E.
Yeah, from Yeezus.
I mean, this guy's fucking
Yeezus.
nuts.
He's out of mind.
He's certifiable. He really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently, he used a sample of Black Sabbath Live for one of his upcoming record. So Ozzy says he will sue Yee, formerly known as Kanye West.
He didn't give him credit?
Beware all ye who enter here.
I don't know.
He sampled Sabbath without giving him credit.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, That's terrible. All these rap artists and hip-hop artists have been read the Riot Act. Give credit. And here comes Kanye saying, I'm not going to give credit. Screw that.
Well,
no.
Yeah, I don't know but remember last week we talked about Paul McCartney. We were joking about Paul McCartney doing the Ram, and then John Lennon had grabbed the pig by the ears, because too many people, and how do you sleep, right?
That means fuck you.
Right, but I think there was some picture, like there's the Ram album, right?
Yeah.
There's Paul.
There's the Ram cover, Paul McCartney, and then John Lennon had... John Lennon grabbed the pig by the end. Apparently, on his Imagine album, that was like a postcard insert with him grabbing a pig by the ears or something. Right? And then there was something else too. Look, Lennon takes a pig dig at Paul's Ram.
God.
That was one of the tabloids. But then somebody did this. Look, it's a
Pig.
That's mean. That's mean. Too many people.
Now that's pretty funny.
That's very funny.
For our audio listeners, it was the cover of Ram with John Lennon on the cover with the pig's ears, and it's called
the record was called Pig.
In the same spelling.
Paul always said, he goes, I had to pick my fights with John because he could cut you to pieces if he wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul's no dummy.
No, he is no dummy. No.
No. There's a scene in Get Back. Anthony was just watching it. My son was watching it the other night, and I walked in. We rewatch it constantly.
Me too.
There's one scene where Paul's talking, right? And then John's just sitting there, kind of out of it, like not really involved. All of a sudden, he looks over at Paul with these eyes that were scary, really scary. And he was just staring at Paul for the long. And Peter Jackson made sure to show that. For like 30 seconds, he's just staring at Paul, and I'm like, what was going through his mind? It looked pretty nasty, But a lot going on in his head. He just kept quiet at that time,
I think they were still competing with each other. Mm-hmm. Through that whole Get Back thing, if you look, Paul's almost dominant in a lot of ways.
It was his peak, in my opinion, the Beatles.
They filmed Paul's creative peak, and John was going in another direction. But the things that John did there were so strong. I mean, Don't Let Me Down. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So when John brought the goods, he brought the goods at that point.
Yeah.
Paul was leading the Beatles and was just rolling with what he was doing. Look at Ringo watching Paul play piano. He's like, he was in awe.
Yeah.
And I think too. And even when Paul was playing Let It Be, like Lennon's kind of mugging the song up a bit at times.
Yeah. Well, Paul was a great piano player. John was a mediocre piano player. Rudimentary. Yeah.
But Paul was a utility player, Now John played bass on what was it? Let It Be.
Maybe Long and Winding Road, I think.
Long and Winding Road. Also back in USSR and Helter Skelter.
Mm.
Did he play bass on Ballad of Yoko and John and Yoko?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He played everything except the drums. Paul played drums.
With Paul,
Paul playing ahead of Paul. He's floppy, but Paul plays kind of like Richard Manuel.
Yeah,
it's kind of loosey. It's not unaccomplished. It's not bad, but it's kind of. But Paul plays behind the beat. Paul's a total English drummer. This is Richard Manuel, actually, or was.
Well, Lou, I've got to look at drumsticks if you want.
Drumsticks. I like drumsticks. You know why?
No,
I'm a drummer. Mark's got a pair.
Yeah.
Mark, you can twirl those things into oblivion, my friend.
I was doing the intro to "Living for the Weekend" by Boom Boom.
Loverboy. Or Scott McClain calls him Blubber Boy. He knows we mentioned it on our show.
Scott.
I didn't have any sticks in my hand, man. There's no room to do it.
Well, I've got a couple of clips of drumsticks being manufactured.
Oh, cool.
We're talking wood here, aren't we?
I think we're talking wood, yeah. Look.
That wood?
So I guess there they are, right? They have to be shaped.
Oh, wait. Okay, so for people who don't have cameras, this is the Vic Firth drumstick company.
And describe what's going on right now, Lou.
So there's a piece of wood, then they shape it into a stick. I guess a machine does it, right?
It's like a lathe or something like that.
Yeah, and then they have to put plastic tips on it.
Not necessarily, but
Not
sometimes
necessarily.
yes.
I have two sets of drumsticks, one with tips, one without. Yeah.
Okay. Got drumsticks right here.
Now, what are the plastic tips for, Lou? Like,
I think what it is for a cymbal work, because I think when you strike the head of a drum, whether it's a wood tip, and in fact, I will show you a wood tipped drumstick right now.
I got one too. See?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
I have a set of those too. Yeah.
They're all tapered to the end. It has like a bead at the end, like a little for cymbal work. Or the plastic, it makes the cymbal sound brighter. Okay. I do like it sometimes. I think for a lot of rock playing, back in my younger days, back in my barnstorming days, it helps cymbals cut through better. If you want a drier sound, like a jazzier sound, or if you want a purist sound, I don't know if Ringo played wood tip drumsticks, or he probably did. It's like for jazz live stuff. If a darker tone cymbal, a wood tipped bead on the drumstick will make it sound darker. It's just kind of cooler.
Ringo probably used calf drum heads.
I think
too,
he had
right?
calf skin. I think going up until the early '60s, probably they were notorious for being impossible to tune or impossible to stay in tune.
All right, let's see if there's another one. Let's see if there's
a lot of noise.
Yeah, well, it's a factory. Yeah,
we see the
this is the Vic
Firth.
The Vic Firth factory.
They're being assembled.
So I guess they have to. And then there's different sizes too of drumsticks.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yeah, we can talk about the evolution of that.
Weighing, sorting, and the pitch.
I love the engineering of the
those look like marching band drumsticks.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the machine like spits them out. Look,
I love that engineering. Somebody had to set up the machine to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Somebody built those machines to do that.
When I worked in a cassette, when I worked in a cassette factory, we had to set up the machine to do
what
that.
Happened?
I said it's like when we worked in a cassette factory,
like a printing press or anything like that.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know is, I think the next sequence says they actually test them. They hit them for a tone to see if they have a certain tone. Look, they test it for audio quality. They hammer it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're packaging in there. They're putting them in there's a little paper sleeve that holds the pair of sticks.
Yeah, and it's Vic. It says Vic on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vic. What is it? Vic Firth?
Vic Firth.
I got my
He was a percussionist, a music teacher. You've got
How could you have one of those?
You didn't have a drum kit.
No, it's the Carl Palmer sticks I got. He autographed them.
That's right. So, can I show you something?
Yeah.
Because I play a combination of acoustic and electric percussion. I actually have a pair of Vic Firth drumsticks that were designed for electronic percussion instruments. Because you have like a mesh pad or a rubber pad. And for these things, you don't need plastic tips like this because, the cymbals or everything's rubber or mesh. So what you do, but now these drumsticks for electronic percussion, it has a more rounder.
Yeah, I see it.
Bead stick at the end, which sometimes I find that's really necessary because this is not a heavy stick. I'd say it's about the
7B.
Almost close, Perry. Actually, that's funny because right now I use almost exclusively 7A drumsticks, which is a jazz stick.
Very thin, very light.
They're pretty thin. There are thinner sticks, but it's funny because Ginger Baker said if you can't use this, you can't do it. So I've learned in my old age that I can play a lot of heavy rock with a 7/8 drumstick, which I wouldn't think of doing when I was 20, when I was using 5Bs, which at that point, a 5B, they seem, well, a 2B is a Louisville Slugger. And I had those for about a week. I'm like, this is stupid. I can't get any finesse out of this. So if you're playing like a meathead, I mean, now there are some drummers that can probably, Billy Cobham or whoever, can play with 2Bs and play like a genius. I can't,
Billy Cobham?
Billy Cobham or whomever. But I'm finding like, like a nice medium weight, lighter stick works well, especially for, local applications. It's like, I'm not playing high volume gigs at this point.
Yeah.
But I do notice like this electronic percussion stick, it gives you even that somehow there's a little more weight, a little more attack.
Yeah.
Because you're triggering, an electronic trigger. So I do use these sometimes, but for like most applications, I use a 7A for, any kind of, the spiritual center. It's a big room, but I'm using a 7As and using electronic kits. It's all amplified, so it's all controlled anyway.
Yeah.
But there was a time when if you said, would you play a lighter jazz stick? I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, I find it interesting, though, there was a big dowel of wood, maple, probably, right?
Most likely maple, yeah.
Yeah, and then they shape it into a stick, and then,
it's fun, like as a guitar player, if you take like a Fender light pick or a Dunlop light pick, you can probably some way tell the difference. There's just something about the way.
You absolutely can.
But now, does it seem neurotic? Because, like a light pick is a light pick, right? It's really not.
I don't like thin picks. I don't like thin
picks. They're going to split on you anyway.
They're going to split. Yeah. But the fact is, like I said, like two different brands of thin pick will just feel somehow differently in your finger.
Yes.
So now ProMark is another drumstick manufacturer. My idol Neil Peart was a ProMark. 747 was his main stick during the rock years. I wanted to like them because I just wanted to be like that, But although there wasn't the heaviest stick, it just never. Those sticks feel very solid. The wood feels almost too solid.
Yeah, maybe they were
I have a pair of ProMark 7A drumsticks that just don't feel right, whereas the Vic Firth 7/8s just feel right in my hands. It's just weird. But I also like them. And they were some of the first, like mostly unvarnished sticks I could find. I didn't like those highly varnished sticks. It just, if your hands are sweating, if they don't sweat, it depends. It's, but I haven't dropped the drumstick in many, many years, so I'll probably do it soon.
You just jinxed yourself, Lou.
Yeah, I like that. Self-fulfilling prophecy.
You did, yeah.
But that was pretty cool. Like it's they must get, it'd be cool to see the beginning of that film where it's probably like big hunks of wood come in and just basically whittle it down.
Yeah, I had to edit it, to get it to
sure.
But it was a whole thing. You could find that up on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah. Now, so, Mark, what is that? What is your favorite Genesis song? Or one of your favorite Genesis songs?
I'm going to say one of them is Firth the Fifth.
Okay, I think that was basically something to do with Vic Firth, just using the name.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you ask
me, studio.
Oh, I did it again. I dropped my pick.
Dropped your pick again?
It's a shtick. I thought Gary Mule Deer.
Do you want to have a little moment of synchronicity here?
Yeah.
Always.
Today, so they built the new bridge crossing from Rockland to Westchester, the Mario Cuomo Bridge, and they built a walkway. Unlike the old Tappan Zee Bridge, it's got a walkway. You can walk. So me and Anthony decided to walk it and see how far we could get. With my weight, I made it to the center span, but I had to come back. But anyway, we're in the center span, and he's like, what's in the water? And we're looking. You're so high up. We see all these logs, huge logs floating in the river. Either they fell off a boat, a barge, or they came down a mountain. But I said to him, you know how many drumsticks is in one of those tree trunks? And he said, what about guitars? I said, no, I was thinking drumsticks. That's so weird, Yeah.
On volume, you get more drumsticks than a guitar.
Yeah.
Now, one of those logs, one time, my dad had a boat in Tarrytown. We took it up the Hudson. We're driving up the Hudson. We heard something. The boat came to a standstill. We hit a submerged log.
Yeah.
It hit the propeller and just mashed the propeller up.
Oh, no. How'd you get back?
This is weird. Me and my brother-in-law, we went down underneath the boat to see if we could dislodge anything. I'm sure I got some kind of throat disease.
Yeah, really.
We lift it back.
It
took 5 hours.
Water.
Oh, God.
That's back when Indian Point was dumping into the.
It was probably near Indian Point.
PCBs, yeah.
One time I hiked across the river in Harriman State Park. I got to the top of a trail I'd never been to. I heard this. I was right across from Indian Point. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, that's a nuclear plant. Like across the river. What if I had an RPG?
What if it leaked? You were fucked.
Yeah, I was fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody is,
Yeah. Yep. And then there's, go back to, you can write a play code, go back to Indian Point.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing I have, Lou, is that pub group, pub rock band from the UK.
Short show tonight.
Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Feelgood. Where were they from?
They're from England. Yeah.
Nice job.
And a guitar player I've always kind of admired is Wilko Johnson because he never used a pick.
Never.
He was just like, ching, 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 You'll see if you can hear it too. The band is called Dr. Feelgood, and the guitar player is Wilko Johnson, and the song is called "She Does It Right." I think. Let's see if it plays. Here we go.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Wilko.
You can hear it singing out there.
No pick. Mark's got a Wilko Johnson guitar. Right, Mark? Looks like your guitar.
Right.
There he is.
That's a Telecaster Deluxe, isn't it?
That's like a pre-punk sound, man. Right?
Yeah, that was circa 1975.
I can hear
75?
punk in that.
Yeah,
was the
that
60s.
was the mid 70s. Yeah,
And they were an English pub like Brinsley
That
Schwartz.
pub rock band. Yeah, like I have another one. Let's see. He does a little guitar piece.
Oh, nice mixing of the rhythm and the lead.
Yeah.
You don't need another guitar player with that.
A picture of Leon Russell back there.
Yeah. Or is it James Young from Styx?
That might have been a TV show or something.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
How
I
did
risked
you
just
stumble-
watching that. Ooh.
How did you stumble upon that?
I'm a fan of Wilko Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, so
How did you hear of Wilko Johnson though? Through this band or any
reading
other?
and yep.
Okay.
And but there's one more. He doesn't know the guitar piece. Come on, Wilkie. He just died recently, Wilko Johnson.
He is intense.
Mark, that's your guitar, man.
Infectious riff. That is one infectious riff.
Yeah, they're a pub rock band.
Good. That would have been a great band to see in a pub.
Yeah, I'm sure they did TV shows too, but I like the way he plays guitar, man, like that, you know?
Didn't he have the Curly Q surf guitar chord?
He did, yeah. Yep.
So
He had the old beach guitar chord, yep.
So, guys,
that was a Telecaster.
I would gauge that it's 1975, somewhere around there, yeah.
So this begs my question. Did punk come from the pubs? Because if they're a pub band, that was a punk-sounding guitar riff.
Yeah. Well, he's a lot of punks, like a lot of punk rockers, liked Wilko Johnson's style of playing. Paul Weller, in fact, even said he's not the most famous guitar player, but you hear Wilko Johnson in a lot of things. You know,
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of musicians that saw that band, so I like the way that guy plays.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And
But he's
rock and
very
roll,
rhythmic.
too.
Yeah.
You know, I say punk, but he's much more talented than a lot of the punk guitarists. He's a good guitar player.
Yeah, and they were. It was not. He was like, he was just so cool, Wilko Johnson, to me, anyway.
So did he inspire the band Wilko?
No, his real name is. That was his nickname. His real name is like Wilkinson, whatever. And
Brinsley Schwartz were a much more like maybe musically accomplished band, like a lot of Nick Lowe and all these other people. Elvis Costello. There was more of a who's a guitar player from Brinsley Schwartz? Played on Pretenders back in the I can't think of his name.
Robbie McIntosh.
Well, no, he was in the Pretenders, but the guy that not Ben Montench. I can't think of his name.
No, there was Martin Belmont.
No,
Martin
Billy
Belmont.
Bremner. Billy Bremner. Billy Bremner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Rockpile.
He was in Rockpile with Nick Lowe and
Dave Edmonds and
Dave
Terry
Edmonds
Williams. Who replaced Pick Withers in Dire Straits.
Yeah, technically they made one album only.
They made one album. Yeah. Now, that's
by the way,
Mark
Knopfler's guitars collection was up for sale at Christie's.
I bought one
a week or so. Well, he had a '59 Les Paul. It went for like almost 700,000 pounds.
It's heavy.
Yeah. So his guitar.
Les Pauls are known to be heavy, aren't they?
But Mark Knopfler is donating, 20% of all his earnings to charitable organizations. Wow. So that's pretty cool.
So what he's doing is,
do you know what that means?
No,
he made a shit ton of money in your life.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It was in the millions. It totaled in the millions, I'm sure.
So
millions of pounds.
What he's doing is, before he dies, he's setting up his kids, his family to have money, and he's also giving to the causes because he's getting up there. He's in the twilight of his career too.
Now, can Mark Knopfler sell his catalog and make a lot of money? Where Dire Straits, money for nothing, but they really weren't a hit machine. Walk of Life, Brothers in Arms was a big deal.
He sold that guitar too. He had Schecter Telecaster type guitars. One of them he played on a Walk of Life, and they said they showed one of these Ovation custom guitar that was made for him, that it was on the cover of something. Those are all sold.
Cover of Brothers in Arms.
I saw highlights of it, and the bidding started. Oh, 200,000 pounds. And there's people on the phone, collectors are on the phone, Saudi princes are on the phone, and for the Hard Rock Cafe in United Arab Emirates or
using
whatever.
Using that public pension money. Schecter. I never liked those guitars, but remember, Pete Townsend really made them popular in the 80s, It was all Pete Townsend, but
they make a lot of Telecaster type guitars. Yeah. But you can get your own kits too now. You can make your own Telecaster.
All three of us have a Telecaster type guitar.
Yeah. Mark's got a Wilko Johnson guitar. That looks like yours, man. Like your G&L.
Is yours black, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the tobacco pickguard, though. Tobacco brown pickguard.
Yeah. She did. Yeah, Wilko Johnson, man. Love that guy.
Was that Perry? Was that song called I Can Tell?
No, the song was called She Did It. She Does It Right. She do it right.
I'm looking at their first album from '75. It's not on there. I'm on Spotify looking at their albums. I added them to my favorite artists list. So gonna do a deep dive on them.
Well, Lou, whatever you want to do, I have an available list if you want to read that. And,
yes. So this has been the episode 61 of the Music Relish Show. We don't always have to go 2.5 hours, but it was fun. There's some good shit in here. Good shit.
Yeah.
I like when someone says, "I really like your shit, man. That's some good shit."
You got some good shit. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
So you can hear us on the following formats: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Amazon Alexa, Pocket Casts, Overcast, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, Odyssey, and Facebook Mark Smith. And you can see us on Spotify and YouTube.
YouTube, yeah. What is it with YouTube?
Right. YouTube.
What's
up if you're from New Jersey?
I did make a statement the other day on Facebook that I did have problems uploading the shows for a little while, so I'm going to be uploading them one by one. They just were not uploading for a while. Facebook is weird, so I'll do the show we did, and then I'll add an older show. I missed about 7 episodes. So
Mark, Facebook profiles are like excuses. Everybody has one.
That's right, and they all stink.
Yeah.
What was Cosmic Vibes, Perry? I saw something there. Some flash.
Oh yeah, well, here,
smoke shop.
Our listeners and viewers give us Cosmic Vibes. Thank you for Music Relish, and thank you for our 37, I think, subscribers. We love you, and feel free to email us at musicrelishshow@gmail.com. Any suggestions, complaints, comments, praise. Damn us.
Yeah. And whenever you want to go to an outro, Lou, let me know.
I'm ready now.
All right, let's see.
It's been fun, guys.
I am the pig.
This has been another episode of the Music Relish Show with your hosts, Mark, Lou, and Perry. You all come back and see us again sometime.
You're so southern. Yeah, that was breezy. That was breezy, man.
That was nice.
Gulf and Western. Gulf and Western. No.
That was so Paramount.
Take off your sandals. Sink your feet in the sand. Pop open a nice light beer.
Coors Light wine. Thank you to our subscribers. We do appreciate it more than you can ever know.
That's right.
Send us an email. musicrollershow@gmail.com.
Hey, our last show has 100 views so far.
Nice.
We got big ratings. You should get monetized based upon ratings, not subscribers.
Exactly. That means all the shitty podcasts wouldn't make money.
I wrote a song called I Was the Firth. I was the Firth.
I'm Vic Firth.
I was Vic Firth. I was Vic Firth.
Oh, that doesn't look right. I'm not doing that. Boy, those drums sound really good. Those electronic drums.
Yeah.
Drum sounds well produced on that.
Nice. Electronic drum kits. They produce themselves.
Luke, the orchestration also. Scooby-Doo. I got this doo-wop thing, Shooby-Doo. Like that.
Shooby-Doo. Let's do it.
Shooby-Dooby-Doo. Dooby-Dooby-Doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I would have liked to seen Sammy and Frank at the Greek. I think Greek is a theater in L.A., right? The Greek theater. Yeah.
Get some of the Spankatopia. Get a nice plate of Spankatopia. And sit with Bobby Dylan, and you listen to some music like Frank and Sammy, and then you go home.
Yeah.
You go home and you overdose on heroin.
But so they asked Stan Lynch, "How was your date with Bob?" He says, "I was terrified." I was terrified.
I'd like to meet Stan Lynch.
Yeah.
Stan Lynch, I'm sure, is a great guy. Well, you know what? You can.
I heard he's a riot.
Nashville.
What's that? I'm
you can email him. Yeah.
Also, Dem the Torpedoes, like that was one of those like albums. I love the way the drums sounded.
He was known for
a drum sound.
Yeah.
Big fat warm drums.
But Jimmy Iovine didn't like him.
Jimmy Iovine, well, he was wrong.
Yeah.
Evidently.
Yeah.
Now Stan Lynch was always critical of his playing up until Mary Jane's Last Dance, where he felt he loosened up. He thought he felt stiff on all the other Heartbreakers records, but nobody else could do it.
You know what's funny? I was not a Tom Petty and a Heartbreakers fan until I heard Last Dance with Mary Jane. Then I heard something about that song I really liked.
Yeah.
Then I became a fan. I went back and went through their old catalog, and I went, yeah, this is good stuff.
That song has a great groove.
Yeah. That and the one, Let's Roll Another Joint. You Don't Know How It Feels. That's another one with a good.
Well, you can't say that. You can't say roll a joint.
Well, they roll another
while.
Right. Yeah, that's what they did on MTV. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, at that period in Tom Petty's career, I was tired of the Jeff Lynne sound. Perry, do you agree?
Me too.
No, as far as like George Harrison's Cloud Nine, it's very clean. I mean, it's a real clean sound, very present. It sounded great on the radio. But after a while, I thought Running Down the Dream, it sounded almost sterile to me.
Oh, Is that kind of funny? I abhorred it. I couldn't hear the compositions.
Really? Oh, are we still recording?
Yeah, we are. I couldn't hear the compositions
bastards
because of the production, so I ignored. Like I couldn't listen to Great Wide Open, the Tom Petty solo album.
Mm-hmm.
I got it and I put it on the shelf.
How do you sleep?
Because of that sound.
How do you sleep at night? Yeah.
Yeah. See you next Tuesday.
But it's funny. I'm nearing the end of this Dylan book, so if you guys, I'll send it to you if you want.
Sounds
it.
like a good book.
I forgot how to read.
Stan Lynch was saying that he goes, he actually said, he goes, I've been out of the band since 1994. That's when they fired him from
94. He
says, I've had a good career after that. He says, but some of the high points of my life were this tour with Dylan, and he said there were times where like he'd start a beat. And Bob would like, give him the hand. Like, no, don't do don't do that. I'm not going to do this for 4 minutes. And he was insulted. He said I was insulted for a few seconds, but then I realized it's Bob fucking Dylan.
Yeah.
We're here with Bob Dylan. We're the backing band for Bob Dylan. It's not Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
That's right. That's right.
It's Robert fucking Zimmerman.
Yesterday at work at like 3:00, I get a call from my friend Amy saying, "Can you play a show with me tonight at 7:30?" I'm like, "Let me see," And it's the same thing like you were saying. So I knew some of the songs, most of them I didn't know. So we set up. It was in an art gallery. It was drums, bass, drums, keyboard, vocalist, and a violinist.
Yeah.
And I had to watch her the whole time. So many stops that they did. Like it's great, but at the same time, I'm like, I said, this is not, I got to focus here, and I was having a hard time focusing.
Go ahead.
But it was the kind of thing where I'm like, watching somebody's hands. Like Rick Danko said, he learned when the Hawks played with Dylan on that early, was it 66 Electric Tour? He goes, I learned those songs by watching Dylan's hands. Like, they think about that. That's panic, And Levon loved it because Levon didn't like to rehearse. Yep. He liked to show up and play and just say, let's see what happens, which is kind of cool. There's a lot to be said for that.
And they said when Tom Petty sang with Bob Dylan during his tour, this was like a 2-year tour. Bob Dylan has never-ending friggin' tours, man.
Yeah.
Guy's a troubadour.
He's going to die on the road, man, like we said.
And he said, Tom would sing with Bob. They never rehearsed. They just knew.
That's fucked up.
You know what I mean? They just knew it.
Up.
They never practiced singing together. Never. Yeah.
Well, I would think if you're going to play with Bob Dylan, you better know his music. It's an unspoken thing. Come on.
There was the key. And also Stan Lynch tells the story, too, that Bob Dylan's 30th anniversary, I guess it was 1992, because 62 he started recording, right? 72. So it was the 30th anniversary of Bob Dylan recording. So there was this big show, wherever it was. Jim Keltner was the drummer.
He sucks.
The great Jim Keltner. And Stan Lynch, like, wow, Jim Keltner. And Stan Lynch showed up for the show and ended up playing. Somebody says, is it okay if Stan plays a song?
Wow.
And of course it was okay. But like meeting Jim Keltner, he goes, Jim Keltner this is the guy. This is the guy,
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
Yeah. He can play with, he can and has played with anybody.
Yep.
And so humble and so self-effacing. Like nobody knows who Jim Keltner is.
Right.
He could come into Metro Wines and I might have sold him a bottle of wine and I might not know who he is.
Well, if he had his aviator glasses on, I would be like, that's Jim Keltner.
Sunglasses too, right? Sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But but in certain circles, Jim Keltner is. I've seen him interviewed many times, and but Stan Lynch was like, "Wow, I'm getting to meet Jim Keltner,"
Yeah.
And Ringo shows up, so now he's even doubly.
Jesus.
Wow. He's even double. Like, holy shit, wow. Ringo and Jim Keltner, man.
Yeah.
Watch it and pay homage. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
When I played the guitar bar one time, and this is small fish in a small pond, the owner goes, Bella Fleck's drummer is here. Like, is it okay if he sits in for a few? I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, go. I'll go home. I will go home and watch it on
Bella Fleck,
learn
isn't
something.
He from North Carolina?
What's that?
Bella Fleck. Is he from North Carolina?
I don't know. I forgot the drummer's name. It's like Method Man, Modern Man. I'm so bad with this.
No, Method. I think it's. I remember. Oh, But he's weird.
Future man.
Future man. He's a jazz and Bella Fleck, a jazz
banjoist.
Banjo player. Holy shit.
Yeah. But no, Future Man gave me a hug after he played his set.
Oh, cool.
He came up and gave me a hug. He goes, I'm like,
nice.
Okay, thank you. Cool.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Bob Dylan, have you guys actually listened to his latest album, Rough and Rowdy Ways? It's been out for a few years. Give it a listen.
I think does that have the
song about JFK?
Yes. A Murder Most Foul.
Yeah.
It's so brilliant. It's fucking genius. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's still the word. He still can tell a story. Yeah.
Yeah. And the
album, have you heard it, Perry?
I've heard that, and I heard one other song. I don't remember the name of the other song, but
it's like Stream of Consciousness. He throws in Don Henley in there. Don Henley's name is in that song somewhere.
But not only that, there's some of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard him play on that album too. With a rough voice, but he's
an 82-year-old voice.
That voice is it's evocative as Tom Waits is now.
Yeah. Yep. But there's a guy, he cannot sit still. Bob Dylan could never sit still.
No.
And he doesn't have to explain anything to anybody.
Yeah. And
I don't take no shit from nobody.
I was watching recently. I was watching. I think I saw it on Netflix. Don't Look Back. No. It was the Rolling Thunder review.
Oh, I got to see that.
And there was a great segment where Mick Ronson's taking a solo, and T-Bone Burnett is standing right next to him. They're just they're both playing Les Pauls. And Dylan's playing, I think, a Stratocaster, and he's looking at them, and it was great. But there's a segment where they were in a house somewhere. Dylan was driving the Winnebago, man, on the road. You know what I mean? He's driving everybody around.
Does he have a license at this point?
Sure, it's a Winnebago. It's not a bus, It's a Winnebago. He's driving, and they're going all over the place.
Cigarette in one hand.
The tour never made any money, but he didn't care.
Doesn't have to.
It was a review, and there was one place they're at somebody's house. So they're in a house somewhere, and Joni Mitchell just wrote "Coyote," No Regrets, Coyote, and she's playing it. It's a new song. She wrote it because of the review. The people on the review, right?
Okay.
Sam. Right, we talked about that the other week.
Sam Waterston, or is that
no, the actor?
Sam Shepard.
Sam Shepard. She wrote that, and she's playing it. She's sitting there playing, and Roger McGuinn is strumming along with her, trying to figure. They're watching, she's in a different tuning, obviously, So,
right.
I guess and so Bob Dylan's strumming. Roger McGuinn is sitting next to him because Bob Dylan loves Roger McGuinn, and Joni's sitting there. Gordon Lightfoot's sitting in the back, strolling around. It's like, wow, man. This is all the Rolling Thunder review. Is this all in and out. People just coming in and out. Yeah.
It's a bunch of heavyweights. They're all heavyweights.
Yeah. Yep.
That's Mick Ronson from Bowie's band?
Mick Ronson was a guitar player.
That is amazing that he joined that band.
Of the tour, because there were two legs. This thing went on for years. This went on for a couple of years,
I'm just shocked that Mick Ronson played with the band. That's amazing.
Mick Ronson was they were the backline guitar players, Mick Ronson and T-Bone Burnett. Yeah, right next to each other. Yep.
I'll have to check out the documentary. It's Martin Scorsese directed, I believe.
No, not the Rolling Thunder review. That was that French guy, I think, who did.
Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah, that guy. But it's
Jacques Cousteau.
They're all sitting there. Joni's playing with her, her dirty little fingers.
What do you mean, dirty little fingers? Explain that.
I don't know what I meant. Check it out for yourself.
Nicotine stained.
And so there's three, Bob, Joni, and Roger McGuinn are strumming. Gordon Lightfoot's roaming around in the background. Alan, the poet, is Allen Ginsberg's roaming around.
He's looking for little boys.
But it was a cool little doc because they said, we have to scrub the poet. We can't do the poetry, because we only have 2.5, these are 3-hour shows,
Yeah.
Annoyingly, fucking, what's her name was there? Joan Baez. Oh, gosh.
Oh, boy. They drove. No, but what I find interesting about Bob Dylan in his like 70s period, he didn't use typical drummers. He like a guy like Alan Parker or something.
Yeah,
but he didn't use Jim Keltner, Jim Gordon.
No. Yeah, these are guys
I wonder
how
he found
for a year. Yeah.
What's that?
These are guys who could tour for a year.
Yeah, but I think he found drummers that were like really well known, and like his drumming, like if you listen like Dylan's 70s period, like say Tangled Up in Blue.
Yeah,
I don't know who the drummer is, but it's not unlike the drumming that I think it's Jim Keltner did on George Harrison's "Give Me Love." It's if you listen, it's not normal. It's just not straight headed beat. It's like a lot of cymbal, syncopation, but like some of these, like the drummer on Tangled Up in Blue, I don't think that's a big name guy. But the fact that you're also playing with Bob Dylan, I mean, like.
Yeah.
Like, where did he find you? The producer, maybe the producer said, these people are vetted. You do a Dylan album, you're vetted. It's just like,
Well,
I've got my stock guys, Bob.
Because I'm reading in this book, G.E. Smith called up Marshall Crenshaw out of the blue.
Marshall Crankshaft?
Marshall Crankshaft. Marshall Crenshaw auditioned to play bass with Bob Dylan on a tour. Circa 1988, maybe.
Wow, and didn't get it.
He rehearsed for 3 days. He was in a bad place. He said he was getting divorced, and he was in a bad. He says
living in Woodstock, New York.
He says, and Bob Dylan. Marshall Crenshaw actually said in the interview, he goes, "I didn't know if I should just kill myself or go do this or whatever." So that's the kind of dark place he was in.
Yeah.
And G.E. Smith talked him into it because they had Marshall Crenshaw apparently got to know G.E. Smith because they opened up for Hall & Oates for a lot of tours. Marshall Crenshaw opened up for Hall & Oates when G.E. Smith was in the band. And anyway, for 3 days, he rehearsed with Bob Dylan. Then he got fired.
Wow.
He said, he wasn't going to work out.
Wow.
And so the day after he got fired, he came back, and he wanted to talk to Bob and thank Bob, and like a real stand-up guy. And Bob was very, cordial, and I knew I wasn't the right guy, but thank you and whatever and whatever. But he auditioned to be bass player for Dylan.
That's also coming from a guy that was supposed to be the new Buddy Holly in a lot of ways.
Well.
It was someday, some way. Whenever I think about you, he had that kind of nerdy appeal. Yeah. He was poised to be a big star, but it doesn't always happen.
He played Buddy Holly in La Bamba, right?
And you played John Lennon in Beatlemania.
Yeah,
but the fact that
he covered one of his songs.
Well, that's a great. Where'd you find that story? That's a great story.
I read it in that book, in the Dylan book.
Story. Yeah, Bob Dylan book.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The last Bob Dylan book I read was Chronicles.
Yeah. I have that on CD, narrated by Sean Penn. It's really fucking good.
Really? You gave me a copy.
I've never listened to an audiobook.
Yeah,
you should. With the right narrator, really it's great.
You could just sit back and listen.
I want mine done by Ethel Merman though. Ethel Merman.
There's no better.
He was in New Orleans.
Before we go, let's have a guess. How many times is Taylor Swift's the camera going to pan to Taylor Swift during the Super Bowl?
It doesn't matter.
75.
20, 30 times, right?
Matter.
Yeah.
How many times was Jack Nicholson? How many times was Jack Nicholson at a Lakers game and they panned on him?
Yeah. And Spike Lee at the next game.
Yeah.
Spike Lee, yeah.
Oh, by the way, Lou, just to tell you, you have Spotify, right?
I do.
The Geddy Lee book is on Spotify as a audio book.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is he doing the audio book?
He narrated himself?
Now, let me tell you, most rock star biographies, I gloss over the childhood because it's usually boring. Like Phil Collins was horrible.
I don't.
Oh, you said this the other week.
You did.
You did. Yeah.
I like the stories of abuse that made them become rock stars.
But I want to hear, like, when I finish the book, I'm gonna listen to it on Spotify and hear him read it. Because even when he's doing that third chapter about Auschwitz, he throws in jokes here and there, like effing is his favorite
he's Canadian.
Word. Some effing deal.
That's how you survive. That's how you deal with tragedy. That's why the Beatles. Yeah, that's why John Lennon left the cripples when the Beatles were like rock musicians. They're bringing these crippled children like kill me. And he's like,
yeah, but Geddy Lee's from Canada.
Yeah, he's from Canada. He's a Canadian Jew.
Well, anyway, what do you want to do? I want to see. You want to sign off, Lou?
I guess so.
I got KFC waiting for me downstairs.
I forgot we're still recording. Me saying Canadian Jew, is that a bad thing?
No,
it's not. Of course, it's not.
Why is that a bad thing? He would call himself that.
Of course,
I'm not going to say it, but you do.
Everything is about being correct and not offending, and we're not here to offend.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
no, of course not.
No.
I'm 1% Jewish according to my DNA.
You know what? What's with the thin skin? These days, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, you know how I'm always telling you I'm like Irish, right? I'm 50% German, 50% Irish. I got my ancestry results. I'm only 3% Irish.
Yeah.
I'm 28% Scottish. So my Irish ancestors came from Scotland. So that's cool. I got to get a kilt.
Yeah.
I have Western Asian in me. I'm like, where and where? Why and where?
Well, let me tell you something.
I think it's North Africa from my grandfather.
Yeah.
Here
we go. They're showing Post Malone drinking a Bud Light, and they showed Gwen Stefani.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear about the football game, dude. No, I don't care.
Lady Gaga's there. Lady Gaga.
Wait. Who's doing the Super Bowl show? Who's doing the halftime show?
Drake.
Drake. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, say goodnight, Bill.
I'm not having wings. Well, this has been episode 61 of the Music Relish Show with your hosts, Mark Smith, Perry Dedovich, and Lou Colicchio.
Emoji.
Yeah. We want to thank our subscribers and all the people that view in. We appreciate it because this is fun. And it's therapy.
Yeah. And the visuals that we do are loud enough so that you can still hear it audio. When you listen, you can still hear Dr. Feelgood playing with Wilko Johnson on guitar. Yep.
Yeah. Don't bell out.
And our intro with the Kool-Aid. Yeah. Your friend's cool.
No, yeah.
Well, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Fare thee well.
Fare thee well. Please let me stay here.
Good night.
Please let me stay here. I love it here. Whoever buys this house, please, we need to do this podcast. Please afford that.
Turn this thing off.
I will make you a sponsor of the podcast. Oh, wait, that's them giving me money. Okay, bye.